Imagine Naruto teleporting behind Madara before he can even blink. Then his father Minato appears instantly beside him. Two yellow flashes, one battlefield, absolute domination. What if Naruto inherited everything from his parents? Minato's genius, Kushina's chains, and became the tactical prodigy who changes every single fight. Let's dive into the most broken Naruto you've ever seen.
The shrill ring of the academy bell cut through the morning air as children flooded into the schoolyard. Among them, a small blond boy with whisker marks on his cheeks stood alone, watching the other students gather in friendly clusters. 8-year-old Naruto Uzumaki's bright blue eyes scanned the playground, his expression a mixture of longing and determination. Unlike most days when he would loudly proclaim his future as Hokage, today he quietly observed, his mind working in patterns he didn't fully understand. Tactical advantage from higher ground, he muttered to himself, climbing atop the swing set frame. The thought had come naturally, though he wasn't sure why he'd framed it that way. From his perch, he watched how the other children moved, noticing patterns in their play that he'd never paid attention to before. Iruka-sensei emerged from the academy building, clipboard in hand. "Everyone inside! Tactical studies begin in 5 minutes," Naruto groaned. Tactical studies were the worst. Boring lessons about battlefield positioning and strategy that never seemed to make sense to him. Yet as he slid down and trudged toward the building, something felt different today, like a lock in his mind was beginning to turn. The classroom buzzed with the usual pre-lesson chaos. Naruto took his seat near the back, next to Shikamaru Nara, who was already half asleep on his desk. Today, we'll discuss basic encirclement strategies, Iruka announced, drawing a series of diagrams on the chalkboard. When facing a numerically superior enemy, what formation offers the best defensive position while maintaining offensive capabilities? Naruto found himself staring at the diagrams with unusual focus. The lines and circles seemed to move in his mind, rearranging themselves into clearer patterns. Without realizing it, his hand shot up. Iruka blinked in surprise. "Naruto, you have an answer?" The classroom fell silent. Naruto Uzumaki volunteering an answer in tactical studies was unprecedented. "The diamond point formation is wrong," Naruto said, pointing at the board. "If you're outnumbered, having 4 exposed points is a liability. A modified circular formation with rotating strike teams would work better, maintaining a solid defense while allowing for coordinated offensive pushes." The silence deepened. Iruka stared at Naruto, his chalk suspended in midair. Even Shikamaru had lifted his head, eyebrows raised. "That's correct, Naruto," Iruka finally said, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Actually, that's exactly what I was going to explain next." "How did you know that?" Naruto shrugged, suddenly self-conscious. "I dunno. Just looked right in my head." Iruka studied him for a moment longer before continuing the lesson. Throughout the class, Naruto found himself understanding concepts that had previously sailed over his head. It was as if a fog was gradually lifting from his mind, revealing pathways of thought he'd never accessed before. After class, Iruka called Naruto to stay behind. "What happened today? You've never shown interest in tactical studies before." Naruto fidgeted with his goggles. "I don't know. It just made sense suddenly, like I could see how the pieces fit together." Iruka's expression softened. "Your father was a tactical genius, you know." "My father?" Naruto's eyes widened. No one ever mentioned his parents. Iruka quickly backtracked. "I shouldn't have said that. Forget I mentioned it." But Naruto couldn't forget. The brief mention of his father echoed in his mind as he left the academy that afternoon. The villagers' cold stares followed him as usual, but today they bothered him less. His mind was too busy processing this new information and the strange clarity he'd felt during class. His path home took him through a narrow alley where 3 older boys blocked his way. Naruto recognized them, civilian teenagers who had hassled him before. "Look who it is," the tallest one sneered. "The demon brat." Naruto's usual response would have been to shout and bluster, but today he found himself analyzing the situation. 3 opponents, narrow space, limited escape routes. His mind rapidly calculated his options. "I don't want trouble," Naruto said, backing away slightly while noting the pile of wooden crates to his left. Too bad, the leader said, lunging forward. Naruto moved with unexpected precision, dodging the first grab and using the boy's momentum to send him stumbling into his friends. In the moment of confusion, Naruto darted for the crates, leaping atop them with surprising agility. "When did you get so fast?" one boy snarled, recovering and charging forward. Naruto jumped from the crates as they were knocked over, landing behind the boys. But his momentary advantage didn't last. The largest boy grabbed him from behind, while another punched him hard in the stomach. Pain exploded through Naruto's body, and with it came a surge of emotion and chakra. Something inside him snapped, and golden chains burst from his back, wrapping around his attackers and pinning them against the alley walls. Naruto stared in shock at the glowing chains extending from his body. The boys screamed in terror, struggling against their bindings. What is this?" Naruto gasped, feeling the chains responding to his emotions. As his panic rose, the chains tightened. "Let us go, demon!" one boy shrieked. The commotion attracted attention. An Anbu operative in a cat mask appeared at the alley entrance, freezing at the sight before them. "Help!" Naruto called out, his voice breaking. "I can't control them." The Anbu approached cautiously. "Calm yourself, Naruto. The chains respond to your emotions." "Chains? What chains? Why do I have chains?" Panic made the chains constrict further, causing the boys to cry out. "Breathe," the Anbu instructed firmly. "Focus on my voice. In and out. The chains are part of you. They will respond to your will." Naruto forced himself to take deep breaths, focusing on the rhythmic pattern of inhaling and exhaling. Gradually, the chains loosened. "Now imagine them retracting into your body," the Anbu said. Naruto closed his eyes, visualizing the chains shrinking back. To his amazement, they began to retract, eventually disappearing entirely. The boys collapsed to the ground, scrambling away in terror. "What just happened?" Naruto asked, his voice small. "The Hokage needs to see you," was all the Anbu said, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder. The world blurred, and Naruto found himself standing in the Hokage's office. The third Hokage dismissed the Anbu with a gesture, then turned his full attention to Naruto. "I understand you had an incident today," Hiruzen said, his weathered face grave. "Chains came out of me," Naruto said, still trembling slightly. "Golden chains. The Anbu said they're part of me, but I've never seen them before." Hiruzen sighed deeply. "They're called adamantine sealing chains. It's a rare ability, even among the Uzumaki clan." "The Uzumaki clan? I have a clan?" Naruto's eyes widened. "Had," Hiruzen corrected gently. "The Uzumaki clan was nearly wiped out many years ago. Your mother was one of the few survivors." "My mother?" Naruto whispered, his heart pounding. "She could use these chains too?" Hiruzen nodded. Kushina Uzumaki was renowned for her mastery of the chakra chains. They're a powerful ability, useful for binding, sealing, and combat. "And today in class," Naruto continued, the pieces connecting in his mind, "I understood all this tactical stuff that never made sense before. Iruka-sensei said my father was a tactical genius." A shadow passed over Hiruzen's face. "Naruto, there are things about your parents I cannot tell you yet. It's for your own protection. But yes, your father had one of the most brilliant minds in the village's history." "So I'm like them? I have their abilities?" Hope bloomed in Naruto's chest. "It appears their legacies are awakening in you," Hiruzen said carefully. "The chains are definitely from your mother's side. As for your sudden tactical insight," he trailed off, studying Naruto with new interest. "Your father would be proud." "Will you teach me to use the chains?" Naruto asked eagerly. "No one alive fully understands the Uzumaki sealing chains," Hiruzen admitted. "But we can help you learn to control them. More importantly, we need to ensure they don't manifest unintentionally again." Over the following months, Naruto worked with select jonin to develop basic control over his newly awakened abilities. The chains proved difficult to master. They responded more to emotion than conscious control, appearing most readily when Naruto felt threatened or protective. Meanwhile, his tactical abilities continued to develop, transforming his academic performance. "The standard clone technique fails because my chakra control is still unrefined," Naruto explained to Iruka after another failed attempt at producing a basic clone. "My chakra reserves are too large to mold precisely for such a small-scale technique." Iruka shook his head in amazement. 6 months ago, Naruto couldn't have explained basic chakra theory, let alone diagnosed his own technical problems. That's a very accurate assessment, Naruto, Iruka said. Most students with chakra control issues benefit from alternative exercises like tree climbing or water walking before attempting clone techniques. Naruto nodded thoughtfully. Could you show me those exercises, Iruka-sensei? Iruka smiled. After class today. As promised, Iruka took Naruto to a small training ground with several tall trees. The concept is simple, but executing it is challenging. Focus chakra to your feet. Too little and you'll slip off. Too much and you'll damage the bark and be repelled. Naruto analyzed the problem. So it's a continuous feedback system. I need to constantly adjust the chakra output based on the surface tension between my feet and the tree. Iruka blinked. That's exactly right. Sometimes I forget you're still 8 years old, Naruto. Naruto grinned. I still like pranks and ramen, Iruka-sensei. I just understand stuff better now. Despite his improved comprehension, mastering tree walking still took Naruto weeks of dedicated practice. His massive chakra reserves made fine control difficult, but his analytical approach allowed steady progress. By his 9th birthday, he could run up and down trees with relative ease, though water walking remained challenging. The academy curriculum began to feel increasingly restrictive to Naruto's developing mind. Basic lessons that challenged his classmates left him restless and bored. During a sealing lesson, when the class was introduced to simple storage seals, Naruto found himself instinctively understanding the complex matrix of symbols. This design is inefficient, he told Iruka, redrawing the basic storage seal on his paper. If you modify the containment array and strengthen the boundary parameters, you can increase storage capacity by 30% without additional chakra cost. Iruka examined Naruto's work with growing astonishment. Naruto, this is advanced Fuinjutsu. Where did you learn this? Nowhere, Naruto shrugged. It just makes sense to me, like puzzle pieces fitting together. Iruka showed the seal to Hiruzen later that day. The Hokage studied it with a grave expression. His mother's intuitive understanding of sealing techniques, Hiruzen murmured. Combined with his father's analytical precision, it's as if both their gifts are manifesting simultaneously. He's still struggling socially, Iruka noted. The other students are intimidated by his rapid improvement, and his desire for acknowledgement sometimes leads to disruptive behavior. Keep encouraging him, Iruka, Hiruzen said. Naruto needs positive reinforcement more than ever. His abilities are awakening faster than we anticipated. As Naruto approached his final year at the academy, his relationship with his classmates remained complicated. His academic performance had improved dramatically, but his social skills lagged behind. Sasuke Uchiha, the class prodigy, viewed Naruto's rising abilities with suspicion and intensified rivalry. During a taijutsu sparring session, Naruto faced Sasuke for the first time since his abilities had begun to manifest. The class gathered around the practice ring, excited to see the matchup. Begin, Iruka called. Sasuke launched forward with his typical precision, aiming a swift kick at Naruto's midsection. In the past, Naruto would have charged recklessly, but now he sidestepped with calculated timing, his eyes tracking Sasuke's movements with unusual focus. You've been practicing, Sasuke noted, circling warily. I've been thinking, Naruto corrected, maintaining a balanced stance. He analyzed Sasuke's posture, noting the slight favor toward his right side, the minimal telegraph before his strikes. Sasuke attacked again, throwing a combination of punches that would have overwhelmed Naruto months ago. Now, however, Naruto parried and dodged with unexpected efficiency, his movements economical and precise. Your right cross leaves you open on the left side for 2 seconds, Naruto observed, ducking under a punch and landing a light tap on Sasuke's exposed ribs. Sasuke's eyes widened in surprise before narrowing in determination. He increased his speed, forcing Naruto on the defensive. For several minutes, they exchanged blows, neither gaining a clear advantage. Enough, Iruka finally called. This match is a draw. The class buzzed with excitement. No one had fought Sasuke to a draw before, especially not Naruto. Lucky, Sasuke muttered as they formed the reconciliation seal. Naruto shook his head. Not luck, strategy. The encounter changed the dynamic between them. Sasuke began watching Naruto more carefully during classes, noting his analytical observations and improved techniques. Their rivalry intensified, but now it was driven by genuine competition rather than one-sided dismissal. As graduation approached, Naruto's abilities continued to develop unevenly. His theoretical knowledge and tactical understanding had surpassed many Chunin, but his practical execution still suffered from his enormous chakra reserves and residual control issues. The basic clone technique remained his greatest challenge. "I don't understand why you can't just let me demonstrate the shadow clone jutsu instead," Naruto complained to Iruka after another failed attempt at producing a standard clone. "I've already mastered it." "The shadow clone jutsu is a Jonin-level technique, Naruto," Iruka explained patiently. "We can't make exceptions to the graduation requirements, even for you." Naruto frowned. "It's illogical to insist on a technique that's fundamentally incompatible with my chakra nature when I've mastered a more advanced version that serves the same purpose." "Rules are rules," Iruka said firmly. "Keep practicing your chakra control." Despite his frustration, Naruto redoubled his efforts, incorporating insights from his study of sealing to develop chakra control exercises. He created a rudimentary seal that helped him visualize his chakra flow, making minute adjustments easier to conceptualize. The night before graduation, Naruto sat on his apartment roof, staring at the Hokage monument. "I'm going to be up there someday," he told the stone faces. "And when I am, I'll change the illogical rules." The next day, Naruto stepped into the examination room with confidence. He had prepared extensively, mastering every required technique except the basic clone. When asked to demonstrate, he formed the hand signs carefully, focusing through his chakra visualization seal. The result was slightly better than his previous attempts, a sickly-looking clone that at least maintained its form for a few seconds before collapsing. "I'm sorry, Naruto," Iruka said regretfully. "That doesn't meet the minimum standard." "But he did create a clone," Mizuki, the assistant instructor, interjected. "Considering his unique chakra situation, perhaps we could make an allowance." "The standards are clear," Iruka insisted. Naruto's face fell, but his mind was already analyzing alternatives. As he left the examination room, Mizuki approached him with an unexpected proposition. "There's another way to pass," Mizuki whispered. "A special test for exceptional cases like yours." Naruto's analytical mind immediately detected inconsistencies in Mizuki's explanation, but he played along, sensing an opportunity to understand the instructor's true motives. That night, he successfully infiltrated the Hokage's office and secured the scroll of sealing, just as Mizuki had instructed. But rather than meeting at the designated location, Naruto took the scroll to a different clearing in the forest. As he opened the massive scroll, his eyes widened at the complex sealing arrays and forbidden techniques. His Uzumaki heritage allowed him to intuitively understand the principles behind each jutsu, while his tactical mind quickly assessed their applications and limitations. "Multi-shadow clone technique," he read aloud. "An enhanced version that distributes chakra more efficiently across multiple clones, perfect for someone with large reserves." He studied the technique carefully before moving to the next section of the scroll. "Flying Thunder God technique," he whispered, his fingers tracing the intricate sealing formula. Something about the jutsu resonated with him on a deep level, as if he'd seen it before. "This seal matrix," he murmured. "It's so elegant. The space-time manipulation is achieved through dimensional anchoring rather than conventional teleportation." Though he understood the theoretical principles, the technique was far too advanced for immediate learning. He made mental notes before returning to the shadow clone technique, which he began practicing. Meanwhile, Iruka had realized something was wrong and began searching for Naruto. Following intuition rather than Mizuki's misdirection, he found Naruto in the forest clearing, surrounded by dozens of perfect shadow clones. "Naruto, what do you think you're doing?" Iruka demanded. The clones vanished in puffs of smoke as Naruto turned to his teacher. "Mizuki-sensei told me about the special graduation test, but something felt wrong about his instructions, so I came here instead." Before Iruka could respond, a giant shuriken sliced through the air toward them. Naruto's analytical mind processed the trajectory instantly, and without conscious thought, golden chains erupted from his back, forming a protective barrier. The shuriken bounced off the chains as Mizuki landed on a nearby branch, his face contorted with shock. "What the?" he began. "Chakra chains," Naruto explained calmly, the golden link swaying around him protectively. An Uzumaki clan technique, useful for defense and restraint. Speaking of which, the chain shot forward with surprising speed, wrapping around Mizuki before he could react. How did you know? Iruka asked, stunned by Naruto's preparedness. Tactical analysis, Naruto replied. Mizuki's proposal contained multiple logical inconsistencies. His body language displayed micro-expressions associated with deception. Plus, he's always smelled like snakes, which I've come to associate with untrustworthy individuals. Iruka stared at Naruto for a long moment before breaking into laughter. You really are full of surprises. He removed his own headband and tied it around Naruto's forehead. Congratulations, Naruto, you pass. But the clone technique? You've mastered an A-rank version of the technique, Iruka said, gesturing to the scroll. I think that more than compensates for your inability to perform the basic version. Naruto beamed, touching the headband reverently. Does this mean? Yes, you're officially a genin of Konohagakure. 2 weeks later, Naruto sat in the classroom with his fellow graduates, waiting for team assignments. His mind worked through probable team configurations based on traditional balancing factors. Top students paired with lower performers, complementary skill sets, personality compatibility. When Iruka announced Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto nodded to himself. The arrangement followed logical parameters. Sasuke as the top academic performer, Sakura with the best chakra control, and himself with the highest tactical potential but uneven practical skills. Their Jonin instructor, Kakashi Hatake, proved to be an interesting tactical puzzle. His deliberate lateness, casual demeanor, and masked face all served as misdirection, concealing a highly analytical mind and formidable combat abilities. The bell test further confirmed Naruto's assessment. As Kakashi explained the objective, secure one of 2 bells to pass, Naruto immediately recognized the underlying purpose. The test is designed to pit us against each other, Naruto whispered to his teammates as Kakashi prepared to begin. But no genin team in Konoha's history has consisted of fewer than 3 members. The logical conclusion is that the true objective is teamwork despite artificially imposed limitations. Why should we believe you? Sasuke asked skeptically. Because my analysis is sound, Naruto replied. Furthermore, Kakashi's reputation as a team player is well documented. His entire combat philosophy centers on prioritizing teammates. Sakura looked between them uncertainly. If Naruto's right, we need a plan. We need a distraction, Sasuke said reluctantly, beginning to see the logic. Something to create an opening. Naruto nodded. I can provide that. My shadow clones can engage him from multiple angles while you 2 prepare a pincer movement. When Kakashi called, "Begin!" the 3 genin disappeared into the surrounding forest instead of attacking individually. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, intrigued by their initial coordination. Minutes later, dozens of Naruto clones burst from the underbrush, attacking in synchronized patterns that suggested surprising tactical awareness. As Kakashi dispatched them, he noted they weren't fighting randomly. Each clone seemed to be testing his defenses, probing for weaknesses in his guard. Interesting approach, Kakashi murmured, dispatching another wave of clones. But where are the other 2? His question was answered when Sasuke emerged from above, his hands flashing through fire jutsu seals. The fireball forced Kakashi to dodge in a predetermined direction, directly into Sakura's path. The pink-haired kunoichi had prepared a simple but effective trap, using wire and kunai to limit Kakashi's movement options. As Kakashi adjusted to avoid Sakura's trap, the real Naruto burst from underground, a technique he'd observed from studying senior shinobi, golden chains extending from his back to wrap around the Jonin's legs. Now! Naruto shouted. Sasuke and Sakura converged from opposite sides, each reaching for a bell. Kakashi's visible eye widened in surprise before crinkling in what appeared to be a smile beneath his mask. With a subtle movement too fast for the genin to track, he substituted himself with a log, appearing several meters away. Time's up, he announced, the bell still secured to his waist. The 3 genin stood together, varying degrees of disappointment on their faces. We failed, Sakura said dejectedly. Did you? Kakashi asked. You didn't get the bells, true. But what was the real objective of this test? Teamwork, Naruto stated confidently. The bells were a misdirection to encourage competition, but the true purpose was to assess our ability to work together despite artificial constraints. Kakashi studied Naruto with new interest. Correct. And how did you determine that? Logical analysis of available information, Naruto explained. Konoha's emphasis on team structures, your own history with Team Minato, and the structural inconsistency of a two-person Genin team all point to teamwork as the primary objective. A flicker of something. Recognition, perhaps, passed through Kakashi's visible eye. Very insightful, Naruto. More insightful than I expected. So we pass? Sakura asked hopefully. Kakashi nodded. You pass. Team 7 is officially formed. His gaze lingered on Naruto. Those chains, an Uzumaki technique. Naruto nodded. They manifested about 3 years ago. I have limited control over them, but they respond to protective instincts. Interesting, Kakashi murmured. We'll need to work on that. And your tactical analysis, it's unusually advanced for your age. I just see patterns, Naruto said with a shrug. It comes naturally. Kakashi's expression remained unreadable behind his mask, but his voice held a note of something like nostalgia. Tomorrow we begin training as Team 7. Be prepared for early mornings and hard work. As their training progressed, the dynamics of Team 7 evolved in unexpected ways. Naruto's tactical insights proved valuable during D-rank missions, transforming mundane tasks into opportunities for skill development. When chasing the notorious cat Tora, Naruto coordinated a containment strategy using shadow clones and chakra chains that captured the feline in record time. Your chains are becoming more responsive, Kakashi noted as they returned the cat to its owner. But you still rely too heavily on emotional triggers rather than conscious control. I've been working on a seal to help, Naruto explained, showing Kakashi a small paper with an intricate design. It's based on the principle of chakra pathway visualization. By incorporating elements of the Uzumaki sealing matrix, I can create a feedback loop that strengthens my connection to the chains. Kakashi studied the seal with evident surprise. This is Chunin-level Fuinjutsu at minimum. Where did you learn this? I didn't, Naruto admitted. It just makes sense to me. Like I've seen similar patterns before. Your mother was a sealing master, Kakashi said carefully. It seems you've inherited her intuitive understanding of Fuinjutsu principles. The mention of his mother brought a smile to Naruto's face. These small glimpses into his parents' abilities were precious to him, pieces of a puzzle he was slowly assembling. After several weeks of D-rank missions, Naruto's analytical mind was craving greater challenges. During a mission briefing, he couldn't contain his frustration. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, Team 7's capabilities exceed the parameters of D-rank assignments, Naruto stated formally. Our coordination, tactical flexibility, and combat readiness suggest we're prepared for C-rank missions at minimum. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow at the formally worded request, so different from the loud demands Naruto might have made in the past. Kakashi, what is your assessment? They're progressing well, Kakashi acknowledged. A C-rank mission would provide valuable field experience. Hiruzen considered this before nodding. Very well. I have a suitable assignment, an escort mission to the Land of Waves. Their client, a bridge builder named Tazuna, seemed unimpressed by the team of Genin assigned to protect him. As they departed from Konoha, Naruto's senses were on high alert. Something about Tazuna's behavior, micro-expressions of anxiety, inconsistent story details, suggested he wasn't being entirely truthful. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said quietly as they walked, I believe Tazuna-san may be withholding relevant information. His stress indicators suggest higher stakes than a standard escort mission. Kakashi glanced at Naruto with interest. What specific indicators have you observed? Elevated perspiration despite moderate temperature, pupil dilation when discussing mission parameters, and a 22% increase in his alcohol consumption when mission specifics are mentioned, Naruto listed. Classic signs of deception anxiety. Before Kakashi could respond, Naruto noticed something else. A small puddle on the road despite no recent rainfall. His tactical mind immediately registered the incongruity. Water-based genjutsu, 2 o'clock, he murmured to Kakashi, who nodded almost imperceptibly. When the demon brothers emerged from their disguise, attacking with poison chains, Team 7 was prepared. Sasuke and Naruto moved in coordination. Sasuke immobilizing one attacker with precisely thrown weapons while Naruto's chains erupted to entangle the other. Chakra chains? One of the attackers gasped as the golden links wrapped around him. Impossible! After securing the attackers, Kakashi turned to Tazuna. I believe you owe us an explanation. This is clearly beyond the parameters of a C-rank mission. Tazuna's confession about Gato's tyranny and the importance of the bridge provided crucial context. After team deliberation, they decided to continue the mission despite the elevated risk. We should expect Jonin-level opposition next, Naruto analyzed as they crossed to the Land of Waves by boat. Gato's escalation pattern suggests he'll employ higher-tier assets after this failure. What's your tactical recommendation? Kakashi asked, testing Naruto's analysis. Layered defense with rotational coverage, Naruto replied without hesitation. Sasuke's range capabilities combined with my area denial via shadow clones provides optimal perimeter security. Sakura maintains close protection for the client, while you serve as mobile response to priority threats. Kakashi nodded approvingly. Well reasoned. Naruto's prediction proved accurate when Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist, ambushed them en route to Tazuna's home. As Zabuza's killing intent washed over the team, Naruto's mind remained clear, analyzing the swordsman's positioning and likely attack vectors. When Kakashi was trapped in Zabuza's water prison, Naruto immediately formulated a response strategy. Sasuke, I need covering fire, Naruto directed. My chains can't reach from this distance, but I can use shadow clones as delivery vehicles. Understanding immediately, Sasuke launched a fireball jutsu to distract Zabuza while Naruto created dozens of shadow clones. The clones charged in wave formations, sacrificing themselves to create openings and gather tactical data. His sword has a 1.8-second recovery period after horizontal sweeps, Naruto noted, processing the memories from dispelled clones. Water clones require 12% of his focus to maintain. If we increase pressure sufficiently, he'll be forced to choose between the water prison and defending himself. The strategy worked, as Naruto's clones transformed into a complex assault pattern and Sasuke's precisely timed attacks exploited the openings they created. Zabuza was forced to release Kakashi to defend himself. The battle concluded with Kakashi nearly defeating Zabuza before a hunter nin intervened. As they recovered at Tazuna's home, Naruto's analytical mind continued processing the encounter. The hunter nin's behavior was inconsistent with standard protocols, Naruto observed to Kakashi. The body should have been disposed of on site, not transported intact. Additionally, the Senbon placement suggested temporary paralysis rather than lethal impact. Very observant, Kakashi confirmed. Zabuza is likely still alive, which means we have approximately 1 week before he recovers. Then we need to accelerate our training, Naruto concluded. During the following days, Team 7 focused on rapid skill development. Naruto divided his training between chakra control exercises and sealing techniques, creating modified explosive tags that could be strategically deployed through his shadow clones. When they encountered Zabuza and his accomplice Haku on the bridge, Naruto's tactical mind was prepared. As Sasuke faced Haku within the crystal ice mirrors, Naruto analyzed the technique from outside. The mirrors are connected through a chakra network, he realized. If I disrupt the flow at the anchor points, his chains manifested, targeting the base mirrors that supported the entire structure. Inside the mirrors, Sasuke had activated his Sharingan, but was still overwhelmed by Haku's speed. When Naruto finally broke through, entering the mirror prison, their combined efforts shifted the battle dynamics. His movement follows predictable patterns despite the apparent randomness, Naruto observed, tracking Haku with increasing accuracy. There's a 0.3-second vulnerability when transitioning between mirrors on opposite axes. Working together, Naruto and Sasuke exploited this weakness, forcing Haku into increasingly defensive positions. When Sasuke took a potentially lethal hit protecting Naruto, something unexpected happened. Naruto's analytical mind temporarily receded as emotion took over, allowing the Nine-Tails chakra to emerge. The Pharaoh chakra enhanced Naruto's speed and strength beyond his previous capabilities, but it also disrupted his tactical thinking. He defeated Haku through raw power rather than strategy, breaking through the ice mirrors with brute force. When Haku's mask shattered, Revealing the kind youth they had met in the forest, Naruto's rage faltered. His analytical mind reasserted control, recognizing the complex moral dimensions of their conflict. "Why?" Naruto asked, his voice raw with emotion but his mind clear. "Why sacrifice yourself for someone like Zabuza?" Haku's explanation about precious people and finding purpose through protecting others resonated deeply with Naruto. It aligned with his own emerging philosophy, that true strength came from the tactical and emotional intelligence to protect those who matter. The battle's conclusion, with Zabuza's redemption and Gado's demise, provided Naruto with valuable insights into the complexities of the shinobi world. As Team 7 departed from the newly completed bridge, named the Great Naruto Bridge in their honor, Naruto reflected on the mission's lessons. Combat effectiveness isn't just about tactical superiority, he told Kakashi as they traveled. It's about having something worth fighting for. Haku was formidable because he had absolute clarity of purpose. Kakashi nodded approvingly. That's a lesson many shinobi never fully grasp. Upon returning to Konoha, Team 7's reputation was enhanced by their success against A-rank missing nin. Naruto's contributions, particularly his tactical insights and unique abilities, drew increased attention from village leadership. The chakra chains are developing faster than anticipated, Hiruzen noted during a private meeting with Kakashi, and his analytical abilities. "Remind you of someone?" Kakashi asked quietly. Hiruzen nodded. More and more with each passing day, his fighting style is becoming a unique fusion, Kushina's chains and vitality combined with Minato's tactical precision. He created a modified explosive seal during the mission, Kakashi reported. Completely on his own, without formal instruction, the design incorporated elements I've only seen in the Fourth's work. "Watch him closely," Hiruzen instructed. "Guide his development, but be prepared for rapid advancement. His potential exceeds our initial projections." The Chunin exams provided the next significant challenge for Team 7. When Kakashi nominated them, Naruto immediately began preparing, studying previous exam structures and likely testing parameters. The exams typically include 3 components, he explained to his teammates as they trained. A written test assessing information gathering skills, a survival exercise evaluating teamwork under pressure, and a tournament-style combat phase for individual assessment. "How do you know all this?" Sakura asked, impressed. "Public records, statistical analysis of previous exams, and logical extrapolation," Naruto replied. "Preparation is a tactical advantage." The first phase of the exam, conducted by Ibiki Morino, proved to be exactly as Naruto had predicted, a test of information gathering rather than actual knowledge. Naruto's analytical mind quickly discerned the true purpose and appropriate response strategies. For the second phase in the Forest of Death, Team 7 entered with a comprehensive tactical plan. Naruto had prepared specialized sealing tags that would alert them to approaching teams and created a rotational rest schedule that optimized their recovery while maintaining security. Their preparation served them well until they encountered Orochimaru. The disguised Sanin's overwhelming power and killing intent paralyzed Sasuke and Sakura, but Naruto's mind continued functioning, analyzing the threat despite his physical fear. Disproportionate chakra signature suggests Kage-level threat, Naruto assessed, forcing his body to move. Conventional combat inappropriate. Priority, tactical withdrawal. When Orochimaru separated Naruto from his team using a giant snake summon, Naruto's response was calculated yet forceful. His chakra chains manifested instinctively, restraining the snake, while dozens of shadow clones created confusion and gathered tactical data. Rejoining his teammates, Naruto found Sasuke frozen in fear as Orochimaru approached. Without hesitation, Naruto interposed himself between them, chakra chains erupting in a defensive formation. "Interesting," Orochimaru hissed, studying the golden chains. "Kushina's legacy lives on. But what else have you inherited, I wonder?" The battle that followed pushed Naruto's abilities to their limits. His chains proved effective at momentarily restraining Orochimaru, but the Sanin's overwhelming power eventually broke through. When Orochimaru struck Sasuke with the cursed seal of heaven, Naruto's analytical mind recognized the seal's structure even as he fought to protect his teammate. Corrupted contract seal with parasitic chakra integration, Naruto observed, his Uzumaki heritage allowing intuitive understanding of the complex Fuinjutsu. primary anchor point at the junction of shoulder and neck, secondary networks extending throughout the chakra pathway system. Though unable to prevent the sealing, Naruto's chains managed to disrupt Orochimaru's follow-up attack, creating an opportunity for escape. As the Sannin departed, promising future encounters, Naruto turned his attention to Sasuke's condition. "We need to stabilize the seal's integration pattern," Naruto told Sakura, examining the mark on Sasuke's neck. "I can create a temporary containment seal to slow the chakra corruption, but we'll need a Jonin-level seal master for permanent suppression." Using his intuitive understanding of Fuinjutsu, Naruto created a rudimentary containment seal that helped manage Sasuke's condition until they could reach the central tower. The effort depleted much of Naruto's chakra, leaving them vulnerable when the Sound Ninja team attacked. The ensuing battle pushed Team 7 to their limits. With Sasuke unconscious and Naruto exhausted from seal creation, Sakura was forced to take the lead initially. When Rock Lee and later Team 10 intervened, the tactical dynamics shifted favorably. Naruto, recovering his strength, coordinated their combined forces with strategic precision. "Ino Shikacho, focus on containment," he directed. "Lee, your taijutsu is optimal for direct engagement with the bandaged opponent. Sakura, maintain perimeter security while I prepare a sealing technique." The collaborative effort successfully repelled the Sound Ninja, though not before Sasuke awakened, the cursed seal partially activated. Naruto's temporary containment seal prevented complete activation, giving Sasuke enough clarity to recognize his allies and stand down. Upon reaching the central tower, they encountered preliminary matches to reduce competitor numbers before the final tournament. Naruto's opponent, Kiba Inuzuka, expected an easy victory against the unpredictable but supposedly limited Uzumaki. "You may have fancy chains, but you're still the dead last," Kiba taunted as they faced off. Naruto remained calm, his mind already analyzing Kiba's fighting style from previous observations. Inuzuka clan techniques rely on synchronized partner attacks and enhanced sensory capabilities, he noted quietly. Optimal counter strategy, sensory disruption followed by pattern interruption. When the match began, Kiba and Akamaru charged with their signature fang over fang technique. Instead of dodging, Naruto threw several small objects toward them, specially prepared sealing tags that released concentrated scent compounds upon impact. "What the?" Kiba faltered, his enhanced sense of smell overwhelmed by the conflicting odors. Naruto capitalized on the disruption, creating shadow clones in a strategic formation that separated Kiba from Akamaru. With their synchronization broken, Naruto systematically dismantled Kiba's offense, using his chains to immobilize Akamaru while his clones engaged Kiba directly. "Your techniques are predictable once the underlying patterns are identified," Naruto explained as he positioned himself for the finishing move. A 73% reliance on linear attack vectors creates exploitable openings. With a precisely timed combination of taijutsu and shadow clones, Naruto secured victory without resorting to excessive force. As he helped Kiba to his feet afterward, the Inuzuka looked at him with new respect. "When did you get so strategic?" Kiba asked, bewildered. Naruto smiled. "I've always been able to see the patterns. I just needed to learn how to use them." The 1-month training period before the final tournament provided Naruto with a critical opportunity for skill development. To his surprise, Jiraiya of the Sannin appeared, offering to supervise his training. "The old man asked me to keep an eye on you," Jiraiya explained during their first meeting, something about rapid development and unique abilities. Naruto studied the legendary shinobi with analytical interest. "You were my father's teacher." Jiraiya's eyes widened. "Who told you that?" "No one," Naruto replied. "Logical deduction based on available information. Your association with the Third Hokage, your age demographic, and your visible reaction to my statement all confirm the hypothesis." A slow smile spread across Jiraiya's face. "You really are his son." After a pause, he added, "Yes, I trained Minato, and now I'm going to train you." Jiraiya's training focused initially on chakra control, helping Naruto refine his massive reserves for more precise application. When Naruto demonstrated his sealing techniques, Jiraiya was visibly impressed. "Your instinctive understanding of Fuinjutsu exceeds even my expectations," Jiraiya noted as Naruto created a complex barrier seal. It's like watching Kushina's intuition combined with Minato's precision. "Can you teach me more advanced seals?" Naruto asked eagerly. "I can, but first there's something else you should learn." Jiraiya produced a three-pronged kunai with a complex seal wrapped around its handle. "Do you recognize this?" Naruto took the kunai, studying the seal with fascination. Space-time manipulation matrix, dimensional anchor points, instantaneous displacement formula. His eyes widened. The Flying Thunder God technique. Jiraiya nodded. "Your father's signature jutsu, the technique that earned him the name Yellow Flash. I've been watching you, Naruto. Your analytical mind, your natural speed, your instinctive understanding of seals, you're ready to begin learning this technique." "But it's an S-rank jutsu," Naruto said, awe in his voice. "The complexity of the dimensional mathematics alone." "Which you just described accurately without formal training," Jiraiya pointed out. "Your mind works like his, Naruto. You see patterns others can't perceive." Over the following weeks, Naruto dedicated himself to mastering the foundations of the Flying Thunder God technique. The learning curve was steep, requiring perfect integration of sealing knowledge, chakra control, and spatial awareness. "The key is the anchor seal," Jiraiya explained during their training. "It creates a unique chakra signature that you can sense and connect to regardless of distance. The actual transportation occurs by folding space between your current position and the anchor point." Naruto's progress was remarkable. His intuitive understanding of sealing principles allowed him to grasp concepts that had taken others years to master. By the third week, he could successfully teleport to marked locations over short distances, though the chakra cost remained high. "Your control is improving," Jiraiya noted after Naruto successfully teleported across the training ground for the 10th consecutive time. "But you're still using more chakra than necessary. The technique should feel effortless, like stepping through a doorway rather than forcing yourself through a wall." "I understand the theory," Naruto said, wiping sweat from his brow. "But coordinating the chakra pulse with the spatial recognition and maintaining the pathway integrity, it's challenging." "It took your father 3 years to perfect," Jiraiya reminded him. "You've made more progress in 3 weeks than most would in 3 months. Don't be too hard on yourself." As the tournament approached, Naruto integrated his developing Flying Thunder God technique with his existing abilities, creating a hybrid combat style that combined shadow clones, chakra chains, and limited spatial manipulation. "I've created a modified version of the technique," he explained to Jiraiya. "Instead of instantaneous transportation to any marked location, I'm establishing a limited network of fixed points that require less chakra and concentration to access." Jiraiya studied Naruto's modified seal array with admiration. "Ingenious adaptation. Your father would be proud." The day of the tournament arrived with Konoha filled with visitors from across the shinobi world. Naruto's first match pitted him against Neji Hyuga, last year's Rookie of the Year and a prodigy of the gentle fist style. "Fate has determined the outcome of this match before it begins," Neji declared as they faced each other in the arena. "You cannot escape your destiny as a failure." Naruto regarded him calmly, his mind already analyzing Neji's stance and likely attack patterns. "Destiny is simply probability without the benefit of tactical intervention," he replied. "I choose to intervene." When the match began, Neji immediately pressed forward with his gentle fist, seeking to close Naruto's chakra points. Naruto responded with calculated movement, maintaining precise distance control while deploying shadow clones to test Neji's defenses. "Your Byakugan has a blind spot," Naruto noted after several exchanges. "Approximately 160 degrees from your primary field of vision, extending in a conical pattern." Neji's eyes widened in surprise. "How could you possibly know that?" "Pattern analysis," Naruto explained, creating more clones. "Your defensive rotations consistently overcompensate in that vector, suggesting a vulnerability you're trained to protect." The battle escalated as Naruto deployed increasingly sophisticated tactics. His clones strategically placed marked kunai throughout the arena, establishing a network of teleportation points. Neji, despite his Byakugan, struggled to track Naruto's movements as he began incorporating short-range Flying Thunder God jumps into his attack patterns. "Impossible," Neji gasped as Naruto appeared behind him, after seemingly being struck by a gentle fist attack. That technique. Flying Thunder God, Naruto confirmed, golden chains erupting from his back to angle Neji's arms, my father's legacy. The revelation sent a ripple of shock through the audience. In the Kage viewing box, the third Hokage sighed as the Kazekage turned to him with evident interest. The yellow flash's son, the disguised Orochimaru murmured, "How fascinating." On the battlefield, Neji struggled against Naruto's chains while attempting to process this revelation. Your father, the fourth Hokage? Destiny didn't make me his son, Naruto said, tightening the chains. And destiny won't determine the outcome of this match. Our choices will. With a final combination of teleportation, shadow clones, and chakra chains, Naruto overwhelmed Neji's defenses, securing victory. As they formed the reconciliation seal afterward, Naruto offered additional insight. Your destiny isn't fixed by your branch family status, Neji. Just as mine wasn't fixed by being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, we write our own futures through the choices we make. The invasion began during Sasuke's match with Gaara. As feathers fell across the arena inducing a mass genjutsu, Naruto's analytical mind immediately recognized the attack. Genjutsu, area effect, sleep induction, he assessed, forming the release seal. Kai! Around him, most spectators succumbed to the technique, while the disguised sound and sand ninja revealed themselves. Kakashi appeared beside Naruto, quickly assessing the situation. Sasuke has pursued Gaara outside the village, Kakashi informed him. I need you to gather a team and follow them. This is now an A-rank pursuit mission. Naruto nodded, his mind already formulating team compositions and pursuit strategies. He gathered Shikamaru and Sakura, along with Pakken, to track Sasuke's scent. As they departed, the scale of the invasion became apparent. Giant snakes breaching the walls, Anbu engaging in rooftop battles, and the third Hokage trapped in a barrier with Orochimaru. The village's defensive protocol will prioritize civilian evacuation and perimeter containment, Naruto analyzed as they moved through the forest. Our mission parameters are clear. Intercept Sasuke and neutralize the Suna Jinchuriki threat. When they encountered an ambush by Sound Ninja, Naruto's tactical leadership proved decisive. Using his Flying Thunder God kunai to establish strategic control points, he coordinated their response with precision. Shikamaru, your shadow possession is optimal for rearguard action, Naruto directed. You can delay the pursuit force with minimal support. Sakura and I will continue after Sasuke. Shikamaru nodded, recognizing the tactical soundness of the plan. Troublesome but logical. I'll hold them here. Naruto and Sakura continued their pursuit, eventually locating Sasuke as he confronted a partially transformed Gaara. The Suna Jinchuriki was in the midst of a psychotic episode, sand enveloping half his body in a tanuki-like form. His Biju is emerging due to emotional instability, Naruto assessed, analyzing Gaara's transformation. The seal is deteriorating, allowing progressive manifestation. Sasuke, already weakened from his match and suffering from cursed seal backlash, turned to them with evident relief. About time you showed up. Tactical approach? Sakura asked, deferring to Naruto's strategic insight. Containment and suppression, Naruto replied. My chains can potentially restrain the Biju chakra while I attempt a seal stabilization. Sasuke, your fire techniques can counter his sand defense by vitrification. Sakura, focus on evasion and support. The battle that followed pushed all of them to their limits. Gaara's transformation continued progressing, his sand attacks becoming increasingly vicious. Naruto coordinated their efforts with tactical precision, using his Flying Thunder God technique to evade the most dangerous attacks while deploying his chains strategically. The seal is centered on his forehead, Naruto observed, teleporting to a marked kunai as a sand claw crushed his previous position. The kanji for love serves as the primary anchor point for the containment matrix. When Gaara fully transformed into Shukaku, the tactical parameters shifted dramatically. Naruto's analysis led him to a bold conclusion. I need to engage him directly, Naruto told his teammates. My chains are the only effective restraint against Biju chakra, and I need proximity for optimal deployment. That's suicide, Sasuke argued. It's calculated risk, Naruto corrected. Approximately 68% probability of success based on observed parameters. Before they could stop him, Naruto teleported to a kunai he'd previously thrown near Shukaku's massive form. Golden chains erupted from his back in unprecedented numbers, wrapping around the Sand Tanuki's limbs and body. "What is this?" Shukaku roared as the chains tightened, suppressing his chakra. "These chains, just like that red-haired woman." Inside Naruto's mindscape, the Nine-Tails stirred, its chakra responding to Naruto's heightened emotional state. For the first time, Naruto became consciously aware of the fox's presence. "You need my power, boy," the Nine-Tails growled. "Those chains alone won't hold him." Naruto's analytical mind quickly assessed the offer. Cooperative chakra sharing rather than forced extraction, he proposed. Mutual benefit through synchronized application. The Nine-Tails seemed surprised by the logical approach. "You're different from your predecessors. I see patterns others miss," Naruto explained, including the pattern of conflict that has trapped you in cycles of hatred. After a moment's consideration, the Nine-Tails grudgingly allowed a measured flow of chakra. In the physical world, Naruto's appearance changed subtly, his whisker marks darkening, eyes shifting to red, and a visible red chakra aura surrounding him. The combined power of Naruto's chains and the Nine-Tails chakra proved sufficient to restrain Shukaku. With precise movements, Naruto approached the sleeping form of Gaara embedded in Shukaku's forehead. "Wake up," Naruto said, striking Gaara with calculated force. The sudden impact broke Gaara's forced sleep technique, causing Shukaku's manifestation to destabilize. As the massive sand form collapsed, Naruto used his Flying Thunder God to bring both himself and Gaara safely to the ground. The two Jinchuriki faced each other, both exhausted from the battle. Naruto's chains remained manifested, though in reduced numbers. "Why?" Gaara asked, genuine confusion in his voice. "Why would you go so far for others?" "Because connections make us stronger, not weaker," Naruto explained. "My analytical abilities allow me to see patterns, and the pattern of isolation you've experienced matches my own. But I chose a different response." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Gaara's siblings, Temari and Kankuro, who were shocked to find their brother defeated but unharmed. "The invasion has failed," Naruto informed them. "Take your brother and return to Suna. Further conflict serves neither of our village's interests." As the Sand siblings departed, carrying Gaara between them, Sasuke approached Naruto with newfound respect. "Those chains, the teleportation technique, you've been hiding a lot," Sasuke observed. "Not hiding," Naruto corrected. "Developing. Everything has its optimal timing for deployment." Upon returning to Konoha, they discovered the heavy price of victory. The third Hokage had died sealing Orochimaru's arms. Numerous shinobi had fallen defending the village, and significant infrastructure damage had occurred. In the aftermath, Jiraiya approached Naruto with a new mission, finding Tsunade Senju to become the fifth Hokage. "Your tactical insights will be valuable," Jiraiya explained, "and I can continue your Flying Thunder God training while we travel." The journey provided Naruto with opportunities to refine his techniques under Jiraiya's guidance. The Sannin was particularly focused on helping Naruto integrate his various abilities into a cohesive fighting style. "Your father became the Yellow Flash by mastering a single technique to perfection," Jiraiya explained during their training. "Your potential lies in synergizing multiple high-level abilities: Flying Thunder God, Chakra Chains, Shadow Clones, and Fuinjutsu." Naruto nodded, having reached similar conclusions through his own analysis. The optimal combat approach utilizes Shadow Clones for seal placement and tactical diversity, Flying Thunder God for mobility and strike capabilities, and Chakra Chains for area control and restraint. "Exactly," Jiraiya confirmed. "Few opponents can counter all three simultaneously, but the chakra management required is substantial." "I've been developing a specialized chakra circulation seal," Naruto explained, showing Jiraiya a complex design inked on a scroll. "By incorporating elements of both Uzumaki vitality seals and the Fourth's chakra flow dynamics, I can optimize my reserves for multi-technique deployment." Jiraiya studied the seal with evident pride. "Your growth rate is remarkable, Naruto. In some ways, you're advancing faster than your father did at your age." When they finally located Tsunade in a gambling town, she proved resistant to returning to Konoha. Her traumatic past and current lifestyle had left her bitter and disillusioned. "Tactical analysis suggests emotional rather than logical resistance," Naruto observed quietly to Jiraiya. Her body language indicates unresolved trauma associated with Konoha, not genuine disinterest in the position. Good assessment, Jiraiya murmured. How would you approach it? Direct confrontation with emotional anchoring, Naruto replied. Challenge her current worldview while providing connection to positive associations with Konoha. When Tsunade mockingly dismissed the position of Hokage as a fool's job, Naruto's response was calculated yet passionate. The statistical probability of death in service doesn't negate the logical validity of the position, he stated firmly. The Hokage represents a stabilizing influence that maintains Konoha's strategic advantage through both symbolic and practical leadership. Tsunade scoffed. Listen to you with your analytical babble. You sound like a textbook, not a shinobi. I sound like my father, Naruto countered, his blue eyes intense. The Fourth Hokage combines strategic brilliance with unwavering dedication to the village. The position isn't foolish, abandoning it is. The confrontation escalated into a bet. If Naruto could master the Rasengan in 1 week, Tsunade would return to Konoha and acknowledge him as a potential future Hokage. Naruto approached the challenge methodically, breaking down the Rasengan into its component elements: rotation, power, and containment. His analytical mind quickly grasped the underlying principles, while his Uzumaki heritage provided the necessary chakra reserves. The containment aspect is essentially a dynamic ceiling problem, Naruto explained to Jiraiya as they trained. By applying principles from barrier fuinjutsu to chakra flow dynamics, I can create a more stable structure. His approach proved effective. Within 5 days, Naruto had developed a functional Rasengan, though achieving single-handed formation remained challenging. On the 6th day, as they continued training, Jiraiya received intelligence that Orochimaru had approached Tsunade with an offer to heal his arms in exchange for reviving her loved ones. We need to intercept immediately, Naruto assessed. Given Tsunade's psychological profile, there's a 62% probability she'll consider the offer despite its moral implications. They found Tsunade in the midst of confronting Orochimaru and his assistant Kabuto. The battle that ensued tested Naruto's developing abilities against Kabuto's medical expertise and combat experience. Your analytical style is impressive, Kabuto acknowledged as they exchanged blows. But knowing patterns isn't the same as having the speed to exploit them. True, Naruto agreed, revealing a flying thunder god kunai. That's why I've been developing this. With a flash of yellow, Naruto disappeared from Kabuto's strike path, reappearing behind him with a Rasengan formed. Kabuto barely dodged, his eyes wide with recognition. The yellow flash's technique, he gasped. Impossible. Improbable, Naruto corrected, chains emerging to restrict Kabuto's movement, but tactically sound. The combination of teleportation, chains, and Rasengan proved effective against Kabuto's regenerative abilities. When Kabuto attempted to target Naruto's heart with a chakra scalpel, Naruto's analytical mind identified the approach vector and countered with precise timing. Medical ninjutsu relies on anatomical knowledge, Naruto noted as he drove a Rasengan into Kabuto's abdomen. My chains disrupt chakra pathways, rendering your techniques 73% less effective. The battle concluded with Tsunade overcoming her hemophobia to defeat Orochimaru, while Naruto successfully incapacitated Kabuto. As they returned to Konoha with the future 5th Hokage, Naruto's reputation began to transform. They're calling you the tactical Flash in some circles, Jiraiya informed him with amusement. A nod to both your father's speed and your analytical combat style. Naruto considered this thoughtfully. Descriptive but unnecessarily dramatic. Effective combat is simply applied strategy, not flashy technique. Says the kid who teleports around battlefields trailing golden chains, Jiraiya chuckled. Under Tsunade's leadership, Konoha began rebuilding while preparing for potential threats from both Orochimaru and the emerging Akatsuki organization. Naruto's abilities continued developing at an accelerated pace, his training now focusing on integrating his various techniques into an efficient combat system. Your chakra chains have reached Jonin-level control, Kakashi noted during a training session. And your flying thunder god, while not as refined as the Fourth's, is becoming combat viable at medium ranges. My current limitation is mental processing speed, Naruto analyzed. The technique requires simultaneous awareness of multiple marker locations while calculating optimal translocation vectors. I'm developing a neural enhancement seal to accelerate cognitive functions during teleportation sequences. Kakashi shook his head in amazement. Sometimes I forget you're still a genin, Naruto. Your analytical approach to combat reminds me of the Fourth during the war. The peaceful reconstruction period was interrupted by troubling news. Sasuke had decided to seek out Orochimaru, believing the Sanin's offer of power was necessary to achieve his goal of killing Itachi. His decision is emotionally driven, but follows a discernible logical pattern. Naruto assessed when Tsunade briefed the retrieval team. Sasuke perceives his current growth rate as insufficient compared to both Itachi and myself. Orochimaru's offer represents an exponential power increase despite obvious long-term costs. Can you bring him back? Tsunade asked directly. Naruto considered the parameters carefully. With the appropriate team composition and tactical approach, the probability of successful retrieval is approximately 78%. However, the likelihood of Sasuke returning willingly is below 30%. Shikamaru, appointed team leader for the mission, deferred to Naruto's tactical insights when forming the pursuit strategy. The team, consisting of Naruto, Neji, Choji, Kiba, and Shikamaru, departed with a clear understanding of their roles and contingency plans. The Sound Four will likely utilize a relay defense pattern to delay pursuit while maintaining forward momentum with Sasuke, Naruto predicted as they moved through the forest. Optimal counter strategy is targeted interception of individual defenders while maintaining pursuit cohesion. His analysis proved accurate. As they encountered the Sound Four, the team implemented Naruto's recommended approach, with individual team members engaging specific opponents while the main pursuit continued. When Naruto finally caught up to Sasuke at the Valley of the End, the Uchiha had already begun his transformation, the cursed seal spreading across his body. Your decision matrix is flawed, Naruto stated as they faced each other across the valley. Orochimaru's offer represents short-term power gain at the cost of long-term autonomy and potential. You wouldn't understand, Sasuke replied, his voice cold. Your power comes naturally, inherited abilities awakening without effort. I have to sacrifice everything to gain strength. Incorrect assessment, Naruto countered. My abilities require extensive refinement and tactical integration. The difference is methodological, not fundamental. Prove it, Sasuke challenged, activating his Sharingan. Show me this power you've developed. The battle that followed was unlike any either had experienced. Sasuke's cursed seal transformation granted him tremendous power and speed, while Naruto deployed his full tactical arsenal, Flying Thunder God, chakra chains, shadow clones, and sealing techniques. Your movement patterns are predictable despite your speed increase, Naruto observed, teleporting away from a Chidori strike. The Sharingan grants visual acuity but not tactical creativity. And your analysis is useless if you can't match my power, Sasuke retorted, his transformed state advancing to level 2, with hand-like wings erupting from his back. As the battle escalated, Naruto found himself drawing more heavily on the Nine-Tails chakra, entering a one-tailed state that enhanced his already formidable abilities. His teleportation became more frequent, chains more numerous, and tactical processing more rapid. You're not the only one with a power source, Naruto noted as red chakra bubbled around him. The difference is, I'm working with mine rather than being consumed by it. The valley echoed with the sounds of their clashing techniques. Chidori against Rasengan, Fire Jutsu against chakra chains, Sharingan prediction against Flying Thunder God unpredictability. The surrounding cliffs bore scars from redirected attacks, while the waterfall itself was temporarily diverted by the sheer force of their chakra. As Sasuke prepared a final Chidori, drawing on the full power of his cursed seal, Naruto crafted his counter-strategy. He placed Flying Thunder God seals at strategic points around Sasuke using shadow clones, while preparing a specialized sealing tag designed to temporarily suppress the cursed seal's influence. Your tactical approach is impressive, Sasuke acknowledged as dark lightning crackled around his transformed hand. But this ends now. Agreed? Naruto replied calmly, a Rasengan forming in his palm as golden chains emerged from his back. Their final clash appeared to be a direct confrontation, Chidori against Rasengan, but at the last moment, Naruto teleported behind Sasuke, the prepared seal in his non-Rasengan hand. As Sasuke's momentum carried him forward, Naruto applied the suppression seal to the cursed mark, while simultaneously restraining him with chakra chains. What? Sasuke gasped as the cursed seal receded, his transformation reverting. Targeted seal suppression, Naruto explained, maintaining the chain restraint. Temporary but effective. Your judgment is compromised by Orochimaru's influence. With the cursed seal temporarily neutralized, Sasuke's resistance weakened. However, the emotional core of his decision remained unchanged. Even without the seal, I can't stay in Konoha, Sasuke said, his voice regaining clarity. I'll never be strong enough to defeat Itachi if I remain in your shadow. Naruto considered this, his analytical mind processing both tactical and emotional factors. Your assessment is flawed but understandable. My recommendation is a compromise. Return to Konoha for 6 months of specialized training under controlled conditions. If your evaluation of progress remains negative, we negotiate alternative arrangements. Sasuke stared at him, surprise evident on his face. You're not going to force me back? Forced retrieval has a 97% probability of reinforcing your existing decision pattern, Naruto explained. A negotiated return with conditional terms has a 63% probability of leading to reevaluation, tactically superior approach. After further discussion, they reached an agreement. Sasuke would return to Konoha, but under special training conditions designed to accelerate his development. The cursed seal would be properly contained by Jiraiya, and after 6 months, they would reassess the situation. As they began the journey back, Sasuke studied Naruto with new understanding. Your analytical abilities, they're not just academic, are they? You see things differently. I see patterns, Naruto confirmed. Combat movements, chakra flows, psychological responses, all follow discernible patterns once you identify the underlying principles. Like the Sharingan, but without needing to see it first, Sasuke observed. Different but complementary, Naruto agreed. Which is why our potential as a team exceeds our individual capabilities. Upon returning to Konoha, their agreement was met with mixed reactions. Tsunade was relieved at Sasuke's return, but concerned about the conditional nature of the arrangement. You exceeded mission parameters by negotiating terms, she told Naruto during debriefing. The objective was retrieval, not diplomacy. The primary mission objective was preventing Sasuke from joining Orochimaru. Naruto countered respectfully. The negotiated terms achieved that objective with 89% probability of sustainability compared to 42% for forced retrieval. Tactically superior outcome. Tsunade sighed, but a smile tugged at her lips. Your father would make the same argument, almost word for word. In the weeks that followed, Naruto continued refining his abilities while monitoring Sasuke's progress under the specialized training regime. The fragile balance they had established seemed to be working, with Sasuke showing significant advancement without the cursed seal's influence. However, their arrangement attracted unwanted attention. Reports began filtering in of Akatsuki movements, with specific interest in Naruto's developing abilities. They're calling him the second Yellow Flash, Jiraiya reported to Tsunade after returning from an intelligence-gathering mission. His combination of teleportation, chakra chains, and tactical insight has caught their attention sooner than we anticipated. Is he ready for that level of threat? Tsunade asked with concern. Not yet, Jiraiya admitted. His individual techniques are impressive, but he needs more real-world experience integrating them under pressure. And the Akatsuki, they're not like any opponent he's faced before. Their discussion was interrupted by an alert. Unknown intruders had breached Konoha's perimeter. The description matched known Akatsuki members, Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki. Naruto, training at one of the remote fields, sensed a disturbance in the Flying Thunder God markers he had placed throughout the village as an early warning system. His analytical mind immediately shifted to threat assessment mode. 2 S-rank chakra signatures, moving with purpose rather than stealth, he murmured to himself. Intentional detection suggests psychological operation rather than direct extraction attempt. Calculating the optimal response, Naruto created shadow clones to alert village security, while he himself used Flying Thunder God to reach the closest marker to the intruders. He found them in a small tea shop, seemingly waiting. Naruto Uzumaki, Itachi acknowledged calmly as Naruto appeared. Your teleportation technique has improved significantly. Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki, Naruto replied, maintaining a calculated distance. Akatsuki operatives with primary objective of Jinchuriki capture. Current approach suggests reconnaissance rather than immediate extraction attempt. Kasame grinned, revealing sharp teeth. The kid's as analytical as reported. Reminds me of his father. Your tactical reputation is growing, Itachi noted. The second yellow flash, a combination of your father's mind and your mother's special chakra. Naruto assessed his options, recognizing the substantial power differential. Direct confrontation would be tactically unsound. What is your purpose here? Currently, assessment, Itachi replied. Your development has accelerated beyond projected parameters. The organization has adjusted its timeline. Before Naruto could respond, additional Konoha shinobi arrived, Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai having been alerted by Naruto's clones. Tactical withdrawal recommended, Itachi observed to Kasame. Primary objective achieved. As the Akatsuki members departed, evading pursuit, Naruto's mind processed the encounter. Their interest confirmed his growing significance as a target, which would necessitate accelerated development of his abilities. They were assessing me, Naruto explained to Kakashi, evaluating current capabilities to refine their capture strategy. And they found you sooner than we expected, Kakashi noted grimly. Your growing reputation has drawn their attention. The encounter precipitated a significant discussion among Konoha's leadership regarding Naruto's future training. With Akatsuki now actively tracking him, the traditional development timeline needed adjustment. He needs advanced training away from the village, Jiraiya argued. I can take him on an extended mission, 2 to 3 years of intensive development focused on mastering the Flying Thunder God, improving his sealing techniques, and gaining better control of the Nine-Tails chakra. And Sasuke? Tsunade asked. Their arrangement was predicated on both remaining in the village. Sasuke's situation has stabilized, Kakashi reported. The cursed seal containment is holding, and his progress under the specialized regime has been substantial. He may be receptive to modified terms. When presented with the proposed changes, Sasuke surprised everyone with his response. It's the logical decision, he stated. Naruto's value as an Akatsuki target makes him a village liability if he remains untrained. Extended field experience under Jiraiya's supervision represents optimal development conditions. You're not concerned about your own training? Tsunade asked skeptically. I've been reassessing my priorities, Sasuke admitted. Recent intelligence suggests Itachi's actions may have additional context I hadn't considered. I need time to investigate properly. As preparations for Naruto's departure with Jiraiya began, the young shinobi focused on creating a network of permanent Flying Thunder God markers throughout the village, anchor points that would allow him to return instantly if needed. The range limitation is primarily psychological rather than technical, he explained to Jiraiya as they prepared. The fourth could teleport across countries because he had absolute confidence in the spatial mapping. I need to develop similar certainty. That's our primary training objective, Jiraiya confirmed. By the time we return, you should be able to teleport to any marker regardless of distance. On the evening before their departure, Naruto stood atop the Hokage monument, gazing out over the village. His analytical mind processed not just the tactical implications of their journey, but the emotional significance as well. Tracking probability suggests a 73% likelihood of Akatsuki accelerating their Jinchuriki capture program, he noted to himself. Our training timeline must account for this escalation. A presence behind him interrupted his calculations. Turning, he found Sasuke standing a few paces away. Final village assessment before departure? Sasuke asked, joining him at the edge. Tactical and emotional mapping, Naruto corrected. Both are necessary components of effective preparation. They stood in companionable silence for a moment before Sasuke spoke again. When you return, I expect a proper rematch, one without cursed seals or negotiations. Naruto smiled. Statistical modeling suggests the outcome would be determined by scenario-specific variables rather than absolute power differentials. In normal human language, it could go either way, Sasuke translated, a rare smile touching his lips. Approximately, Naruto agreed. As dawn broke the next morning, Naruto stood at the village gates with Jiraiya, ready to begin their journey. Many of his friends and colleagues had gathered to see them off. "Remember your seal maintenance," Naruto instructed Sasuke seriously. "The containment matrix requires recalibration every 30 days to prevent chakra degradation." "I know," Sasuke replied. "I've been studying the principles. It's not as intuitive for me as it is for you, but I understand the mechanics." Sakura approached, her medical training under Tsunade having already begun to show in her confident posture. "Don't forget your medical supplies. I've packed specialized soldier pills calibrated for your chakra system." Naruto nodded appreciatively. "Tactically sound preparation. Thank you, Sakura." As final goodbyes were exchanged, Naruto placed a special Flying Thunder God marker in Tsunade's hand. "For emergencies only," he explained. "The response time will be delayed proportional to distance, but I should be able to return if absolutely necessary." "Let's hope it doesn't come to that," Tsunade replied, carefully securing the marked kunai. With a final wave, Naruto and Jiraiya set off down the road, the morning sun casting long shadows behind them. As they walked, Naruto's mind was already calculating training schedules, technique refinements, and strategic applications. "You know," Jiraiya observed with amusement, "most people beginning a journey like this would be excited or nervous. You look like you're solving complex equations in your head." "Optimizing our training efficiency," Naruto confirmed. "Based on projected threat timelines, we have approximately 156 weeks to achieve Jonin-level mastery of at least 7 advanced techniques." Jiraiya laughed, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "First lesson of our journey. Sometimes the best tactical decision is to stop calculating and simply experience the moment." Naruto considered this, his analytical mind processing the non-quantifiable benefits of present awareness. "Psychological resilience through balanced cognitive engagement," he concluded. Tactically sound advice. As they crested a hill, Naruto paused for a moment to look back at Konoha in the distance. For all his analytical abilities and tactical insights, he felt something that couldn't be quantified, a connection to the village and its people that transcended logical assessment. "I'll return stronger," he promised quietly, his typically analytical voice tinged with emotion. "Strong enough to protect everyone. That's my way of the ninja." With that declaration, he turned and followed Jiraiya over the horizon, the next chapter of his journey beginning, a journey that would transform the tactical Flash into a shinobi worthy of both his father's genius and his mother's heart. Behind them, unknown to either, a figure in a black cloak with red clouds watched from a distant tree. "The second yellow Flash," the figure murmured. "Fascinating how history repeats itself, with interesting variations." The figure disappeared in a swirl of space-time distortion, leaving no trace of his observation, but the wheels of a larger plan had been set in motion, one that would test Naruto's inherited abilities against threats his parents had only begun to understand. The eastern horizon glowed with the first light of dawn as Naruto Uzumaki and Jiraiya crested a familiar hill. Nearly 3 years had passed since they had left Konoha. 3 years of rigorous training that had transformed the young shinobi in ways even his mentor hadn't fully anticipated. "We're almost home," Jiraiya observed, glancing at his student. Naruto nodded, his blue eyes scanning the landscape with analytical precision. He looked older now, taller and more composed, his features bearing a striking resemblance to the Fourth Hokage. "Approximately 47 minutes until we reach the main gate, accounting for current terrain and pace," Jiraiya chuckled. Some things never change, always calculating. But much had changed. The journey that began as a training mission had evolved into something far more profound when 14 months ago, they had made a breakthrough that altered everything. It had happened during an isolated training session in the mountains of the Land of Iron. Naruto had been pushing himself to the limits of chakra exhaustion, attempting to expand the range of his Flying Thunder God technique. For months, he had been progressing steadily, increasing the distance and accuracy of his teleportation. But that day, something unexpected occurred. As his chakra reserves approached depletion, Naruto had felt a strange pulling sensation within his mindscape. Following this intuitive connection, he found himself standing before the Nine-Tails cage, but the environment was different, calmer, somehow more balanced. You've been using my chakra more efficiently, the Nine-Tails had observed, its massive form shifting behind the bars, without the previous corruption. I've been studying the seal architecture, Naruto had replied, his analytical mind automatically mapping the complex patterns. The design incorporates elements of both my father's work and Uzumaki traditional binding techniques. The instability occurs primarily at the junction points where different seal types intersect. The Nine-Tails had studied him with ancient eyes. You speak like him now, your father. I never knew him, Naruto had said, a rare flicker of emotion breaking through his analytical facade. But I did, came a voice from behind him, warm and achingly familiar despite never having heard it before. Naruto had turned to find a tall blonde man standing there, his features mirroring Naruto's own, but older, more experienced. Beside him stood a beautiful woman with long red hair, her smile radiant and eyes filled with unmistakable love. Mom? Dad? Naruto had whispered, his analytical mind momentarily overwhelmed by emotion. We left chakra imprints within the seal, Minato Namikaze had explained, stepping forward. Programmed to activate when certain conditions were met. Your use of the Flying Thunder God technique created a resonance, Kushina had added, her eyes bright with unshed tears. And your work with the chakra chains, my chains, it amplified the connection. That meeting had changed everything. For hours that felt like days within his mindscape, Naruto had learned directly from his parents the full extent of his inherited potential, the true nature of his abilities, and the profound legacy he carried. Minato had shared the complete theory behind the Flying Thunder God technique, insights that went beyond what was recorded in any scroll. Kushina had explained the spiritual foundations of the Uzumaki chakra chains, their connection to life force, and their potential applications beyond mere restraint. Together, they had helped Naruto understand how these abilities could work in harmony, creating a combat system greater than the sum of its parts. But more importantly, they had shared stories, laughter, and tears, giving their son the family connection he had always longed for. When that initial meeting ended, Naruto emerged with more than knowledge. The Nine-Tails had witnessed the entire exchange, and something in the great beast had shifted. Your parents gave everything to protect you, the Nine-Tails had said, its voice lacking its usual hostility. Perhaps there is merit in their faith. That conversation had been the beginning of a new relationship between Naruto and the Nine-Tails, tentative at first, but growing steadily into mutual respect and eventually true partnership. Now, as they approached Konoha, Naruto carried not just enhanced techniques, but a profound connection to his heritage and a complete alliance with the being sealed within him. You think they'll notice the difference? Naruto asked, a rare moment of uncertainty in his otherwise precise demeanor. Jiraiya laughed. Notice? Kid, you've mastered techniques that made your father a legend, you've evolved your mother's unique abilities, and you've formed a partnership with the Nine-Tails that no Jinchuriki has achieved before. They won't just notice, they'll be stunned. As they passed through Konoha's gates, familiar faces greeted them with varying degrees of shock. Naruto's transformation was evident not just in his physical appearance, but in the calm, analytical confidence he projected. Tsunade was waiting in her office, her sharp eyes immediately assessing the changes in the young shinobi. Welcome back, she said, a smile tugging at her lips. I assume your training was productive? Beyond initial projections, Naruto confirmed. Jiraiya-sensei's curriculum, combined with unexpected developmental factors, has resulted in significant skill advancement across multiple domains. Translated from Naruto's speak, Jiraiya added with a grin, he's become a force to be reckoned with. Tsunade leaned forward, her expression turning serious. The Akatsuki have been moving more openly. Reports indicate they've targeted multiple Jinchuriki already. The Kazekage is particularly vulnerable. Gaara, Naruto said, his analytical mind immediately calculating threat parameters. Given Akatsuki's demonstrated pattern of prioritizing Biju extraction, there's a high probability they'll move against him within the next 30 days. My thoughts exactly, Tsunade agreed. Which is why I'm assigning you to Kakashi's team effective immediately. Consider your reintegration period officially shortened. Logical decision, Naruto nodded. Who else comprises the team? Sakura has continued her medical training under my supervision. And Sasuke, Tsunade paused, studying Naruto's reaction. How has his rehabilitation progressed? Naruto asked calmly. Better than expected, Tsunade admitted. Your conditional agreement proved surprisingly effective. He's been training intensively, particularly in developing counters to Itachi's techniques. The cursed seal remains dormant under Jiraiya's containment design. And his psychological state? Stable, focused. Tsunade smiled slightly. He asks about your return more often than he'd probably admit. Naruto processed this information with evident satisfaction. When can I see my team? They're waiting at the old training ground, Tsunade replied. I thought you might appreciate the symmetry. When Naruto arrived at Training Ground 3, he found Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke in familiar positions, though all had visibly changed during his absence. Sakura's confident posture reflected her medical training, while Sasuke's calm demeanor suggested the internal progress he had made. Kakashi, ever the same, simply raised an eyebrow at Naruto's transformed appearance. The prodigal teammate returns, Sasuke said, a hint of a smile playing at his lips. About time. Approximately 3 days ahead of our projected schedule, Naruto corrected, but his own lips twitched upward. Sakura stepped forward, her analytical medical gaze assessing him. Your chakra signature has changed. It's more integrated somehow. Naruto nodded. Kurama and I have reached an understanding. Kurama? Kakashi asked, his visible eye widening slightly. The Nine-Tails' actual name, Naruto explained. Knowledge shared during our partnership development. The implications of this statement hung in the air. Naruto had not just trained his abilities, but had formed a true alliance with the feared Baiju within him. Show us what you've learned, Sasuke challenged, his Sharingan activating with a flicker of red. Naruto smiled, a genuine expression that transformed his typically analytical features. Without warning, he vanished in a yellow flash, reappearing behind Sasuke with a three-pronged kunai held casually near his former rival's neck. The Flying Thunder God, Kakashi breathed, recognizing his sensei's signature technique. Enhanced version, Naruto clarified, stepping back. I've modified the spatial anchor parameters to reduce chakra consumption by approximately 47% compared to my father's original formula. As if to demonstrate further, golden chains emerged from Naruto's back, dancing in the air with precise control before gently retracting. You've mastered your mother's technique as well, Kakashi observed, his tone impressed. Not just mastered, Naruto corrected. Evolved. The chains now function as both offensive and defensive tools, with specialized applications for chakra disruption, spatial anchoring, and sensory extension. Sasuke stepped forward, his expression contemplative. You've surpassed our agreement's parameters. As have you, from what I understand, Naruto replied. Your control over the Sharingan has progressed significantly. A moment of understanding passed between them. Both had used their time to grow stronger, not just for personal power, but to protect what mattered. We should test our combined capabilities, Sasuke suggested. Tactical assessment under controlled conditions. Naruto nodded, a small smile forming. I was thinking the same thing. What followed was not merely a sparring match, but a sophisticated demonstration of synchronized combat that left even Kakashi speechless. Naruto and Sasuke moved with uncanny coordination, their techniques complementing each other as if they had been training together for years rather than separated. Naruto's Flying Thunder God created openings that Sasuke's Sharingan-enhanced precision exploited perfectly. When Sasuke launched a fire technique, Naruto's chains guided and amplified its path, creating complex attack patterns that would bewilder any opponent. Their movements reflected not just individual growth, but a profound understanding of each other's abilities. Impressive, Kakashi acknowledged when they finally stopped. You've both developed far beyond my expectations. There's more, Naruto said calmly, but demonstration of those capabilities would exceed the parameters of a training ground. Before they could discuss further, an Anbu appeared, kneeling before Kakashi. Emergency mission. The Hokage requires Team 7 immediately. In Tsunade's office, the gravity of the situation became clear. The Akatsuki have made their move, she announced without preamble. Gaara has been abducted from Sunagakure. Naruto's mind immediately began calculating response scenarios. Time since abduction? Approximately 12 hours. Kankuro attempted pursuit, but was poisoned by one of the assailants, identified as Sasori of the Red Sand. The second abductor was Deidara, an explosives expert from Iwagakure. Extraction of a biju typically requires a specialized sealing array and approximately 72 hours of uninterrupted ritual, Naruto analyzed. Given travel time from Suna to the nearest likely Akatsuki facility, we have a maximum window of 48 hours to intercept, which is why you're departing immediately, Tsunade confirmed. Team 7, your mission is to coordinate with Sunagakure forces and recover the Kazekage. This is classified as an S-rank mission with international implications. As they prepared to leave, Naruto took a moment to approach a specific location within Konoha, a sealed basement room in the Hokage Tower where he had placed a special Flying Thunder God marker before his departure 3 years ago. Activating the seal, he confirmed it remained functional despite the passage of time. Emergency return point verified, he murmured to himself. Operational parameters within acceptable limits. Within his mindscape, Kurama stirred. You expect trouble. The statistical probability of encountering multiple S-rank opponents is approximately 89%, Naruto replied internally. Preparation optimizes response options. The journey to Sunagakure would normally take 3 days, but Naruto had an alternative approach. Once they had traveled beyond Konoha's borders, he revealed a specialized scroll. I've established a network of spatial markers along the Konoha-Suna route during previous missions, he explained to his surprised team. With sufficient chakra, I can transport our entire team in sequential jumps, reducing travel time by approximately 68%. The chakra cost would be enormous, Kakashi noted. Naruto nodded, which is why Kurama has agreed to supplement my reserves. The journey that followed demonstrated the extraordinary evolution of Naruto's abilities. Using a modified version of the Flying Thunder God technique, he transported the entire team across vast distances in carefully calculated jumps. Between each teleportation, he would recover briefly before continuing, the process methodical and precise. They arrived in Sunagakure in just under 17 hours, a journey that would have taken 3 days by conventional travel. The Suna officials were visibly shocked by their early arrival. Konoha Shinobi, Tamari greeted them, her expression tight with worry. We didn't expect you for at least another day. We utilized enhanced transportation techniques, Kakashi explained diplomatically, glancing at Naruto. Tamari's eyes widened as she recognized the changed Naruto. You look different. The external changes are minimal compared to the functional enhancements, Naruto replied. More importantly, I need all available intelligence on Gaara's abduction, last known vector, chakra trace residuals, and any communication intercepts. His businesslike approach momentarily startled Tamari, but she quickly provided the requested information. Kankuro was in critical condition from Sasori's poison, which even the Suna medical teams couldn't neutralize. Sakura immediately moved to examine him. The poison is attacking his chakra network specifically, she analyzed. I can extract it, but we'll need to synthesize an antidote for complete recovery. While Sakura worked on Kankuro, Naruto and Sasuke reviewed the intelligence with methodical precision. Their analysis quickly identified the most likely extraction site, an abandoned Akatsuki facility in the border region between the Land of Rivers and the Land of Fire. Given the extraction timeline and our current position, direct intervention has a 76% probability of success, Naruto calculated. The optimal approach involves a 2-stage strategy: initial infiltration for intelligence gathering, followed by coordinated assault, leveraging our specialized abilities. Kakashi nodded, impressed by the sophisticated tactical assessment. Agreed. We'll depart as soon as Sakura stabilizes Kankuro. As they prepared to leave, Tamari approached Naruto. Gaara, he always spoke of you differently from other Konoha shinobi. He said you understood something others didn't. Naruto's typically analytical expression softened slightly. We share a common experience, and we will bring him back. Their journey to the Akatsuki hideout was swift, aided again by Naruto's Flying Thunder God network. Upon arrival, they found the facility protected by a powerful 5-seal barrier. Classic Uzumaki design with modifications, Naruto observed, studying the seal pattern. 5 synchronized anchor points must be removed simultaneously to destabilize the barrier matrix. Can you bypass it? Sasuke asked. Naruto shook his head. Direct bypass would trigger a collapse sequence. However, I can place Flying Thunder God markers on each seal tag. With 4 shadow clones, we can achieve simultaneous removal. The plan worked perfectly. Naruto's shadow clones, each using the Flying Thunder God technique, removed the 5 seals in perfect synchronization. The barrier dissolved, revealing the hidden entrance. Inside, they found exactly what they had feared, Gaara suspended in the air, surrounded by 9 spectral figures extracting the one tail from his body. 2 of the figures were physically present, Sasori and Deidara. Infiltration compromised, Deidara observed with a smirk. But you're too late. The extraction is nearly complete. Naruto's analytical mind processed the situation in milliseconds. Sakura and Kakashi engaged Sasori. His puppet techniques require precise targeting that Sakura's enhanced strength can counter. Sasuke neutralized Deidara. Your Sharingan can track his explosive clay movements. I'll disrupt the extraction ritual. Without waiting for acknowledgement, Naruto vanished in a yellow flash, reappearing directly above the ritual circle. Golden chains erupted from his back, plunging into the spectral energy connecting Gaara to the statue. Impossible, one of the spectral figures hissed. Those chains, Uzumaki sealing chains, another voice identified, this one belonging to the leader's projection. The Jinchuriki has mastered his bloodline abilities. The chains wrapped around the energy tendrils, systematically disrupting the extraction process. Within Naruto's mindscape, Kurama provided guidance. Target the convergence points, the Nine Tails instructed. The ritual creates harmonic resonance between Biju chakra signatures. Following this insight, Naruto adjusted his chain's positioning, causing the entire extraction framework to destabilize. The spectral figures flickered as their technique collapsed. Retreat, the leader's projection commanded. This extraction is compromised. Sasori, Deidara, delay them. As the projections disappeared, Naruto teleported to Gaara's falling form, catching him midair. A quick assessment confirmed his worst fears. The extraction had progressed significantly. Vital signs minimal, Naruto reported, laying Gaara carefully on the ground. Biju chakra approximately 27% remaining. Conventional medical intervention insufficient. Within his mindscape, Naruto consulted Kurama. Is there a way to stabilize him? There is, Kurama confirmed, but it requires precise chakra transfer. Your chains can serve as conduits, but the balance must be perfect. Naruto nodded internally, then addressed his team who were still engaged with Sasori and Deidara. I need approximately 4 minutes to stabilize Gaara. Maintain containment protocol. His chains emerged once more, but with a different purpose. They glowed with a golden red light as they connected to Gaara's chakra network, creating a specialized life support system. Naruto's eyes closed in concentration as he began the delicate process of chakra harmonization. Meanwhile, the battles around him intensified. Sasuke proved remarkably effective against Deidara, his Sharingan predicting the explosive artist's every move. When Deidara attempted to escape on a clay bird, Sasuke's precision lightning techniques disabled the creation mid-flight. Sakura and Kakashi worked in perfect coordination against Sasori, whose puppet arsenal was formidable but ultimately vulnerable to Sakura's precise chakra-enhanced strikes. When Sasori revealed his true form, a living puppet with a human core, Kakashi's Raikiri provided the decisive strike. As the battles concluded, Naruto completed his work with Gaara. The Kazekage's eyes slowly opened, focusing with confusion on the shinobi leaning over him. Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara said weakly. You saved me? Incomplete assessment, Naruto replied, though a smile softened his technical language. I've stabilized your condition and preserved approximately 31% of the One-Tail's chakra. While this is insufficient for full Jinchuriki functionality, it will maintain your life force and provide a subset of your previous abilities. Gaara studied him with wondering eyes. You've changed. Evolution was necessary, Naruto said simply. The threats we face required adaptation. The return journey to Sunagakure was triumphant. Naruto's unprecedented techniques had not only rescued the Kazekage, but had dealt a significant blow to Akatsuki's plans. When they arrived, the people of Suna gathered to welcome their leader home and to witness the capabilities of the Konoha shinobi who had made it possible. Before departing, Naruto had a private conversation with Gaara. The remaining One-Tailed chakra will gradually regenerate, he explained, showing Gaara a small seal he had placed on the Kazekage's chest. This stabilization matrix will facilitate integration and prevent rejection symptoms. With proper management, you should regain approximately 60% of your previous capabilities within 6 months. Gaara nodded, then asked the question that had been on his mind. Your abilities? They're like nothing I've seen before. Inherited techniques enhanced through specialized training, Naruto replied. In partnership with Kurama, the Nine Tails. Gaara's eyes widened slightly. You achieved true cooperation with your Biju? Mutual respect evolved into alliance, Naruto confirmed. A model that could potentially be replicated with other Jinchuriki given appropriate approach methodologies. You truly are unique, Naruto Uzumaki, as Gaara said softly. Suna will not forget what you've done. The diplomatic implications of the mission extended beyond a simple rescue. Naruto's unprecedented abilities and Konoha's swift response had strengthened the alliance between the villages significantly. As they departed, Tamari formally requested continued intelligence sharing regarding Akatsuki activities, a request that Kakashi, as mission leader, readily approved. Upon returning to Konoha, Tsunade received their report with evident satisfaction. The mission was a complete success then. Not only was the Kazekage recovered, but you've gathered valuable intelligence on Akatsuki's extraction technique and demonstrated the effectiveness of our new capabilities, Sasuke added, glancing at Naruto. Which brings me to your next assignment, Tsunade continued. We've received intelligence that Sasori maintained a spy within Orochimaru's organization. This contact is scheduled to meet with Sasori at the Tenchi Bridge in 10 days. Opportunity for intelligence acquisition and potential targeted strike against Orochimaru, Naruto analyzed immediately. Given Akatsuki's awareness of our intervention in Suna, they likely anticipate our presence. Recommendation: proceed with mission but prepare for potential trap scenarios. Tsunade nodded. Exactly. Team 7 will intercept this meeting, posing as Sasori if necessary. Your primary objective is intelligence gathering, but you're authorized to act against Orochimaru if the opportunity presents itself. The 10 days before the mission provided valuable time for Team 7 to refine their coordination. Naruto and Sasuke particularly focused on developing combination techniques that leverage their complementary abilities. Your Flying Thunder God creates perfect openings for my Chidori variants. Sasuke observed during one training session. If you can place markers on multiple vectors around a target, I can execute omnidirectional strikes with minimal telegraph. Efficient approach, Naruto agreed. Additionally, my chains can guide your fire techniques for enhanced area coverage or concentrated impact, depending on tactical requirements. Kakashi watched their collaboration with a mixture of pride and amazement. The synergy between the former rivals had evolved into something remarkable, a combat system greater than the sum of its already formidable parts. On the eve of their departure, Naruto took time for meditation, connecting with the chakra imprints of his parents within his mindscape. These connections had become more stable over time, allowing for increasingly detailed conversations. The Tenchi Bridge mission carries significant risk, he explained to the manifestations of Minato and Kushina. Orochimaru's potential involvement introduces variables that are difficult to quantify. Minato's imprint nodded thoughtfully. Your analysis is sound. Orochimaru always preferred indirect approaches, using proxies and manipulations rather than direct confrontation. Don't overthink it, Kushina advised, her fiery personality shining through even in chakra form. Your strength isn't just in planning, but in adaptation. Trust your instincts as much as your mind. Naruto absorbed this wisdom, balancing his father's analytical precision with his mother's intuitive approach. Thank you. Your guidance continues to be invaluable. When the day of the mission arrived, Team 7 departed with a comprehensive strategy. They reached the Tenchi Bridge ahead of schedule, establishing surveillance positions around the meeting point. The spy is approaching from the east, Naruto reported, his sensory abilities enhanced by both sage techniques and Kurama's perception. Chakra signature indicates Jonin-level reserves with medical specialization. High probability identification, Kabuto Yakushi. Kakashi nodded. As expected, maintain position until the meeting begins. The encounter started according to plan. Yamato, a wood-style user temporarily attached to their team, transformed to impersonate Sasori based on intelligence gathered during the previous mission. His interaction with Kabuto seemed to be proceeding normally until a powerful presence disrupted the meeting. Orochimaru, Sasuke identified, his Sharingan activating instantly. The Sannin emerged from the forest, his sinister chakra immediately changing the dynamic of the situation. My, he hissed, a Konoha welcoming committee. How thoughtful. Naruto's analytical mind immediately recalculated their approach. Formation Delta, he communicated to his team. Sasuke, primary engagement with support positioning. Sakura and Yamato, secondary containment. Kakashi, extraction protocol if necessary. The battle that ensued demonstrated the extraordinary evolution of Team 7's abilities. Sasuke engaged Orochimaru directly, his Sharingan-enhanced techniques keeping the Sannin on the defensive. What particularly surprised Orochimaru was Sasuke's complete immunity to his psychological manipulation. The Uchiha's resolve was unwavering, his purpose clear. "You've grown stronger, Sasuke-kun," Orochimaru observed, dodging a precisely aimed lightning strike. "But without my guidance, you'll never reach your full potential." "Incorrect assessment," Sasuke replied coolly, his attack patterns becoming increasingly unpredictable. "My development has exceeded projected parameters through alternative methodologies." As Sasuke maintained pressure on Orochimaru, Naruto's role became clear. He was systematically placing Flying Thunder God markers throughout the battlefield, creating a network of teleportation points. Occasionally, he would flash into the battle, chains erupting to disrupt Orochimaru's techniques before teleporting away, a hit-and-run strategy that visibly frustrated the Sannin. "The yellow flash's legacy," Orochimaru hissed, recognizing the technique. "Combined with Kushina's chains. How fascinating you've become, Naruto-kun." "Your interest is noted but irrelevant," Naruto replied calmly, appearing briefly to place a sealing tag on the ground before vanishing again. The methodical placement of seals and markers eventually revealed its purpose. Naruto teleported to Sasuke's side, chains erupting in a specific pattern. Boundary established. Execute combination technique, Phoenix chains. In a seamless display of coordination, Sasuke launched a massive fire technique while Naruto's chains guided and amplified the flames, creating a perfect cage around Orochimaru. The Sannin attempted to escape using his snake-like abilities, only to discover that each teleportation marker Naruto had placed was also a sealing tag, creating a barrier network that restricted movement. "Clever," Orochimaru acknowledged, his expression darkening, "but insufficient." With a surge of chakra, he began breaking through the barrier, only to find Naruto and Sasuke waiting with their most powerful combined technique. Sasuke's Chidori, enhanced by Naruto's chakra chains, struck with unprecedented precision and power. The attack should have been decisive, but Orochimaru's resilience was legendary. Though severely wounded, he escaped through one of his specialized techniques, taking Kabuto with him. Target escaped but significantly damaged, Naruto assessed, his analytical mind already calculating pursuit options. Probability of immediate counterattack approximately 17%. Recommendation: secure intelligence acquired during initial meeting and establish pursuit parameters. Kakashi nodded, impressed by the clinical analysis. "Agreed. We've confirmed Kabuto's status as Orochimaru's agent, not Sasori's true spy. That's valuable intelligence in itself." The mission, while not achieving a definitive strike against Orochimaru, provided critical information about his operations and capabilities. More importantly, it demonstrated the extraordinary effectiveness of Team 7's new configuration, particularly the synergy between Naruto and Sasuke. Upon returning to Konoha, their report prompted an immediate strategic reassessment. The Akatsuki remained the primary threat, but Orochimaru's continued activities suggested a potential three-way conflict developing. "We need more intelligence on Akatsuki's movements," Tsunade decided after reviewing their findings. Reports indicate that a team consisting of Hidan and Kakuzu has been active in the Fire Country's border regions. Team 10 has requested backup after encountering them during a standard mission. The immortal duo, Naruto identified immediately. Hidan utilizes ritualistic techniques requiring blood sampling for lethal effect. Kakuzu possesses multiple hearts, granting functional immortality through redundant life systems. Standard elimination protocols ineffective. Tsunade raised an eyebrow at his detailed knowledge. "That's classified intelligence. How did you? Jiraiya-sensei's network provided preliminary data, Naruto explained. I supplemented with historical analysis and pattern recognition. Their techniques follow established principles despite their unusual applications. Then you understand the threat they pose, Tsunade said grimly. Team 7 will rendezvous with Team 10 and neutralize these Akatsuki members. Priority 1 is ensuring our shinobi's safety. Priority 2 is elimination of the threat. The mission began with urgency. Naruto's Flying Thunder God network allowed Team 7 to reach the border region in record time, arriving just as Team 10, led by Shikamaru Nara, was engaging the Akatsuki pair. Their arrival couldn't have been more timely. Asuma Sarutobi, Team 10's leader, was locked in deadly combat with Hidan, whose ritual circle was nearly complete. One more step in his ceremony would link their pain and injuries, a technique that had claimed countless victims. Naruto assessed the situation in milliseconds. Intervention Protocol Alpha, he directed, vanishing in a yellow flash. He reappeared directly between Asuma and Hidan, chains erupting to disrupt the ritual circle while simultaneously teleporting Asuma to safety. Hidan's scythe, mid-swing, met only empty air. What the? The immortal Akatsuki member sputtered, his ritual interrupted. Flying Thunder God technique, Kakuzu identified from where he was engaging the rest of Team 10. The yellow flash's jutsu. Interesting. Naruto didn't waste time on conversation. His chains continued disrupting Hidan's ritual circle while he created shadow clones to analyze attack patterns. Each clone teleported around the battlefield, gathering tactical data before being dispersed, feeding information back to the original. Sasuke, engage Kakuzu, Naruto directed. His multiple hearts require precision targeting that your Sharingan can facilitate. Kakashi, secondary support for Sasuke. Sakura, medical stabilization for Team 10. I'll neutralize Hidan. The battle that followed demonstrated why Akatsuki had become feared throughout the shinobi world, and why Team 7's new capabilities represented a genuine counter to their threat. Hidan's immortality made him nearly impossible to defeat by conventional means, but Naruto's approach was anything but conventional. Your ritual requires uninterrupted ceremony and a stable connection to your deity, Jashin. Naruto analyzed as he systematically countered Hidan's increasingly frustrated attacks. Disrupting either component renders the technique non-functional. Stop analyzing and start dying, Hidan shouted, swinging his scythe wildly. Naruto's response was methodical. His chains created a specialized binding pattern, systematically restricting Hidan's movement, while his Flying Thunder God technique allowed him to avoid every counterattack. Meanwhile, he was placing specialized ceiling tags at strategic points around their battlefield. Containment protocol initiated, Naruto announced once the preparatory work was complete. Uzumaki ceiling technique, Divine Severance Barrier. The tags activated simultaneously, creating a shimmering field that surrounded Hidan. The immortal Akatsuki member laughed derisively. A barrier? I can't die, you fool! Correct, Naruto acknowledged calmly. Which is why the barrier doesn't attempt to kill you. It severs your connection to your deity's dimension, rendering your rituals non-functional. Additionally, it creates a temporal stasis field, effectively removing you from the battlefield without requiring your death. As understanding dawned on Hidan's face, the barrier contracted, compressing and containing him in what appeared to be a small, crystalline prison. His curses were silenced as the stasis effect took hold. One target neutralized, Naruto reported, turning his attention to the battle between Sasuke and Kakuzu. This fight was equally impressive in its strategic execution. Sasuke had identified the locations of Kakuzu's additional hearts and was systematically targeting them with precision, Chidori strikes. Kakashi's support provided crucial openings, while Naruto's occasional teleportation into the battle created moments of distraction that Sasuke exploited perfectly. When the final heart was destroyed, Kakuzu fell, his immortality technique rendered useless. The combined efforts of Team 7 and Team 10 had achieved what many would have considered impossible, the decisive defeat of two of Akatsuki's most dangerous members. In the aftermath, Asuma approached Naruto, still processing his narrow escape. "You saved my life," he said simply. "That technique of yours, it's remarkable. Application of inherited abilities with strategic modifications," Naruto replied. The Flying Thunder God creates tactical options that conventional combat approaches cannot match. Well, whatever you call it, Asuma said with a smile. I owe you. Kurenai would have never forgiven me if I hadn't made it back. The successful mission against Hidan and Kakuzu represented a significant blow to Akatsuki, but intelligence gathered from the encounter suggested an acceleration of their plans. Reports began arriving of unusual chakra disturbances in the Land of Water, specifically around a large lake where the Three Tails was rumored to reside. The Three Tails exists in a free state, Tsunade explained during their mission briefing. Without a Jinchuriki host, is particularly vulnerable to capture. Intelligence suggests Akatsuki has dispatched a team to secure it. Preventing Akatsuki from obtaining another Biju is strategically essential, Naruto assessed. Additionally, the Three Tails represents a potential ally if approached correctly. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Ally? It's a massive, mindless turtle. Incorrect assumption, Naruto countered respectfully. Through communication with Kurama, I've learned that all Biju possess distinct consciousness and intelligence. Their apparent mindlessness is often a defensive response to human exploitation. This revelation prompted thoughtful silence in the room. The idea that the tailed beasts were sentient beings with their own perspectives represented a paradigm shift in how they were viewed. Very well, Tsunade finally said. Team 7 will intercept Akatsuki at the Three Tails location. Your primary objective is preventing its capture. If possible, establish communication and determine if a more beneficial arrangement can be achieved. The mission to the Land of Water represented a new type of challenge. Rather than combating human opponents, they would be dealing with a massive Biju while simultaneously preventing Akatsuki interference. Upon arriving at the lake, they found the Three Tails in an agitated state, creating massive waves and water disturbances. Naruto immediately sensed the presence of Akatsuki members, observing from concealed positions around the lake. Deidara and Tobi he identified, his enhanced sensory abilities picking up their chakra signatures. They haven't engaged the Three Tails yet, suggesting they're waiting for optimal conditions or additional support. How do you want to approach this? Kakashi asked, deferring to Naruto's unique insights regarding Biju. I'll attempt communication while you establish a perimeter to intercept Akatsuki, Naruto decided. Sasuke, your Sharingan can track Deidara's explosive clay. Sakura, prepare medical support in case of injury. Kakashi, coordinate the defensive line. With his team positioned strategically, Naruto approached the lake's edge. Rather than attempting to control or subdue the Three Tails, he sat in a meditative pose, entering a specialized state that combined aspects of Sage Mode with Kurama's chakra. Isobu, he called mentally, using the Three Tails' true name, knowledge shared by Kurama. I come without hostility or intent to capture. Others seek to imprison you for destructive purposes. I offer an alternative. The massive turtle Biju's movement slowed, its single visible eye focusing on the small human figure at the lake's edge. A rumbling consciousness touched Naruto's mind. Human, you know my name, the ancient being observed, and you carry my brother, Kurama. I am Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto replied in the mental connection. Kurama and I have formed a partnership based on mutual respect. The humans who seek you now, Akatsuki, wish to extract and use your chakra for purposes that would harm all Biju. As this communication continued, Akatsuki made their move. Deidara, recognizing the opportunity slipping away, launched explosive clay creations toward both Naruto and the Three Tails. The attack never reached its targets. Sasuke's lightning techniques detonated the clay prematurely, while Naruto's chains created a protective barrier around himself and extended partially over the Three Tails. Your protection? For me? Isobu rumbled in surprise. Your autonomy should be respected, Naruto replied. No being should be used merely as a weapon or tool. This philosophy, so different from the treatment Baju had experienced throughout history, resonated with Isobu. The massive turtle moved closer to Naruto, its behavior shifting from agitation to cautious interest. Meanwhile, the battle with Akatsuki intensified. Deidara's aerial assault was countered by Sasuke's precision lightning techniques, while the mysterious Tobi attempted to approach the Three Tails directly, only to be intercepted by Kakashi. You're Sharingan, Tobi observed to Kakashi, his playful demeanor briefly dropping. How nostalgic. The comment, cryptic and unexpected, momentarily disturbed Kakashi's focus, long enough for Toby to slip past and approach Naruto and the Three Tails. But Naruto had anticipated this movement, having placed Flying Thunder God markers throughout the area. He teleported directly into Toby's path, chains erupting in a complex pattern. To everyone's shock, the chains passed through Toby's body as if he were intangible. Interesting technique, Naruto observed, his analytical mind immediately processing the phenomenon. Phase shifting rather than conventional intangibility requires precise timing and chakra control. Toby's single visible eye widened slightly. Your analytical abilities are impressive, Naruto-kun, just like your father's. Before Naruto could respond, Toby attempted to grab him, likely to use whatever space-time technique allowed his intangibility. But Naruto's reflexes, enhanced by both training and Kurama's chakra, allowed him to teleport away instantly. Your Flying Thunder God versus my Kamui, Toby mused. An interesting contest of space-time techniques, but not today. Without further engagement, he vanished in a spiral distortion, retreating along with the defeated Deidara. With the Akatsuki threat temporarily neutralized, Naruto returned his attention to Isobu. Their mental communication had established a tentative understanding, but the Three Tails remained vulnerable as long as it stayed in this exposed location. I can create a specialized sealing array, Naruto offered. Not to contain you, but to mask your chakra signature from detection. It would allow you to remain free while being protected from those who would exploit you. Isobu considered this proposal carefully. Your offer is unlike any human approach I have experienced. I will accept this protection. Over the next several hours, Naruto created an elaborate sealing network around and beneath the lake, incorporating elements of traditional Uzumaki designs with innovations suggested by both Kurama and his father's chakra imprint. The completed array would not restrain Isobu, but would make its chakra virtually undetectable to those seeking Biju. The concealment seal is complete, Naruto announced to his team. Isobu can remain free while being protected from Akatsuki detection. Additionally, we've established a communication protocol should future interaction become necessary. Kakashi studied his former student with newfound respect. You've created a completely different approach to Biju relations. This could change everything we thought we knew about the tailed beasts. They are not tools or weapons, Naruto said firmly. They are ancient sentient beings who have been exploited by humans for generations. Establishing respectful cooperation creates mutually beneficial outcomes. This philosophy, revolutionary in the context of traditional shinobi attitudes toward Biju, would prove increasingly significant as events unfolded. The mission to protect the Three Tails not only prevented Akatsuki from capturing another Biju, but established a precedent for a new type of relationship between humans and tailed beasts. Upon returning to Konoha, Naruto found himself increasingly recognized not just for his combat abilities, but for his unique approach to problems that had previously seemed unsolvable. His analytical mind, combined with the empathy fostered by his experiences, created solutions that others couldn't envision. However, personal concerns soon overshadowed these successes. Intelligence arrived indicating that Itachi Uchiha had been sighted near the border of the Land of Fire, apparently operating independently from Akatsuki's usual patterns. He's drawing Sasuke out, Naruto assessed immediately when Tsunade shared this information. The timing and location suggest deliberate visibility, contrary to Itachi's typical operational protocols. Sasuke, present for this briefing, nodded in agreement. It's an invitation. Or a trap, Kakashi cautioned. Both assessments are statistically probable, Naruto acknowledged. However, this represents an opportunity to address a long-standing threat while potentially gathering critical intelligence about Akatsuki's internal structure. After considerable discussion, Tsunade authorized a focused mission. Team 7 will investigate Itachi Uchiha's activities and engage if tactically advantageous. However, she added, fixing Sasuke with a stern look, this is not a personal vendetta mission. You operate as Konoha Shinobi under Kakashi's command. Understood, Sasuke agreed, his demeanor calm and focused. As they prepared for the mission, Naruto took time to speak privately with Sasuke. Your psychological state appears stable despite the potential confrontation with Itachi. This represents significant progress from our previous encounter at the Valley of the End. Sasuke gave him a measured look. My objectives have evolved. Killing Itachi remains necessary, but not from blind hatred. There are inconsistencies in the official account of the massacre that require clarification. You've been investigating, Naruto observed. As have you, I suspect, Sasuke replied. Your access to classified archives hasn't gone unnoticed. Naruto acknowledged this with a slight nod. The Uchiha massacre narrative contains statistical anomalies and logical inconsistencies. Itachi's capabilities were exceptional, but the complete elimination of a founding clan in a single night without alerting village security suggests potential additional factors. My thoughts exactly, Sasuke said quietly, which is why this encounter is necessary, not just for revenge, but for truth. Their journey to Itachi's reported location was conducted with methodical precision. Naruto established a network of Flying Thunder God markers along their route, creating both tactical advantages for potential combat and escape routes if necessary. When they finally located Itachi, he was alone in an abandoned Uchiha hideout, a fact that immediately triggered Naruto's tactical assessment. Isolated location, minimal escape routes, controlled environment, he analyzed. Consistent with planned encounter parameters rather than coincidental contact. Sasuke stepped forward, his Sharingan activated, but his demeanor composed. Itachi. Little brother, Itachi acknowledged, his expression unreadable. You've brought friends this time. Allies, Sasuke corrected, and I've brought questions as well as techniques. What followed was not the immediate battle that might have been expected, but a tense conversation. Itachi seemed willing to engage in limited dialogue, though his responses were cryptic and layered with potential meanings. The truth you seek has many facets, Itachi told Sasuke. Not all of them are what you expect. Then enlighten me, Sasuke challenged, before I fulfill my promise to kill you. Itachi's gaze shifted briefly to Naruto. The Uzumaki has taught you patience. Interesting. After a pause, he added, some truths can only be understood through direct confrontation. If you wish to know everything, you must defeat me first. With those words, the conversation ended and combat began. The battle between the Uchiha brothers was extraordinary. Itachi's experience and legendary techniques against Sasuke's evolved abilities and strategic approach. Naruto and the rest of Team 7 maintained a perimeter position, intervening only when Itachi attempted to use genjutsu on Sasuke. Naruto's chains, with their unique chakra disruption properties, proved effective at breaking genjutsu connections without directly engaging Itachi. As the battle progressed, something unexpected became apparent to Naruto's analytical mind. Itachi was holding back. His attack patterns showed subtle hesitations, his legendary techniques deployed at less than optimal timing. Most tellingly, his chakra flow exhibited irregularities consistent with chronic illness rather than combat exhaustion. He's dying, Naruto realized, sharing this assessment quietly with Kakashi. Independent of this battle, his chakra pathways show degradation patterns consistent with terminal illness. This insight changed their understanding of the encounter. Itachi wasn't fighting to kill Sasuke. He was testing him, pushing him to his limits while carefully controlling the battle's progression. The climax came when Itachi cornered Sasuke, reaching for his eyes in what appeared to be an attempt to take his brother's Sharingan. But at the last moment, he simply tapped Sasuke's forehead, a gesture familiar from their childhood, before collapsing. Forgive me, Sasuke, Itachi whispered. This is the last time. As Itachi's life ebbed away, Naruto approached cautiously, his chains ready to intervene if necessary. But the dying Uchiha simply looked up at him with fading clarity. Protect him, Itachi requested, his voice barely audible, from Madara and from the truth. Before Naruto could respond, a final transfer of chakra passed from Itachi to Sasuke, a pre-prepared technique designed to activate upon Itachi's death, and then he was gone, leaving Sasuke victorious but clearly shaken by the encounter's unexpected conclusion. In the aftermath, Sasuke stood silently over his brother's body, his expression unreadable. It wasn't supposed to end like this, he finally said. Something isn't right. Your assessment is accurate, Naruto confirmed. Itachi's combat patterns indicated deliberate restraint and predetermined outcome parameters. Additionally, his final chakra transfer suggests planned contingency rather than desperate last attempt. Before they could discuss further, Naruto's enhanced senses detected a new presence approaching rapidly. Unknown entity incoming, chakra signature massive but partially suppressed. Recommendation, tactical withdrawal to reassess. They barely had time to secure Itachi's body before a masked figure appeared, the same Toby they had encountered during the Three Tails mission, but his demeanor entirely different. Gone was the playful, almost childish persona, replaced by commanding presence and focused killing intent. "Impressive work, Sasuke," the masked man said, his voice deeper and more controlled than in their previous encounter. "You've accomplished what you set out to do." "Who are you?" Sasuke demanded. "Someone who knows the truth about Itachi," the masked man replied. "The truth he died to protect." Naruto's chains emerged instantly, creating a defensive formation around Team 7. "Your chakra signature contains anomalies consistent with extremely advanced age despite physical indicators suggesting prime condition. Probability of identity deception approximately 97%. The masked man chuckled. "Analytical like your father, I see. Very well. You may call me Madara Uchiha." This claim sent shockwaves through the team. Madara Uchiha was supposed to have died generations ago after his legendary battle with the First Hokage. "Impossible," Kakashi stated flatly. "Many things once thought impossible have proven otherwise," the self-proclaimed Madara replied, "including the true reason behind the Uchiha massacre." He directed his words primarily to Sasuke, revealing a story that contradicted everything Sasuke had believed, that Itachi had acted on orders from Konoha's leadership, sacrificing his honor and family to prevent a coup that would have led to civil war and countless deaths. "He chose the village over his clan, and you over everything," Madara concluded. "Every action, even this final battle, was designed to make you stronger, to make you a hero who killed the clan's traitor and restored the Uchiha honor." Sasuke's shock was palpable, his typical composure cracking under the weight of these revelations. But before the situation could escalate further, Naruto stepped forward, chains still maintaining their protective formation. "Your narrative contains verifiable elements, but is structured to maximize emotional impact rather than comprehensive understanding," Naruto analyzed calmly. "The selective disclosure pattern suggests manipulative intent rather than altruistic truth-seeking." Madara's single visible eye narrowed. "You're becoming troublesome, Naruto Uzumaki. Just like your parents." "A comparative assessment I accept as complimentary," Naruto replied. Then, without warning, he activated a specialized Flying Thunder God technique that transported the entire Team 7 away from the location, leaving Madara alone with Itachi's body. They reappeared at one of Naruto's emergency marker locations, miles from the confrontation. Sasuke immediately rounded on Naruto, his Sharingan blazing with emotion. "Why did you intervene?" he demanded. "I needed to hear everything." "Tactically unsound," Naruto explained calmly. That encounter was developing into a psychological manipulation scenario with high probability of emotional compromise. Additionally, Madara was gradually positioning for potential hostile action while engaging in information dissemination. Sasuke's anger didn't immediately subside, but his analytical mind began processing Naruto's assessment. "You believe his information was deliberately structured to manipulate me?" "Correct," Naruto confirmed. "However, that doesn't mean all elements were false. The Uchiha massacre likely has political dimensions that have been concealed. The optimal approach is independent verification through multiple sources, rather than accepting a single narrative from an entity with unknown motivations." This reasoning gradually penetrated Sasuke's emotional response. His Sharingan deactivated as he regained his composure. "You're right," he acknowledged reluctantly. "I nearly fell into the same trap of blind reaction that drove me to Orochimaru." "Your emotional response was natural given the context," Naruto assured him. "What matters is the subsequent analytical processing." Their return to Konoha was subdued, each team member processing the implications of what they had learned. The existence of someone claiming to be Madara Uchiha, the suggestion of Konoha's involvement in the massacre, and Itachi's apparent sacrifice created a complex web of revelations that would require careful investigation. Tsunade listened to their report with growing concern. "These claims, if even partially true, have serious implications for Konoha's leadership structure and history. I'll initiate a classified investigation into the Uchiha incident, focusing on documentation from that period. Request permission to participate in the investigation, Sasuke said formally. As the surviving Uchiha, I have both personal interest and potentially useful insights. Granted, Tsunade agreed. But this stays absolutely confidential. If what Madara claimed has any basis in fact, it could destabilize the village if leaked improperly. As the investigation began, troubling news arrived from Jiraiya. He had infiltrated Amegakure, seeking information on the Akatsuki leader known only as Pain. His initial report suggested connections to the legendary Rinnegan and potentially to Naruto's own heritage through the Uzumaki clan. I need to go deeper, Jiraiya's message concluded. The answers here could be critical to understanding the full scope of Akatsuki's objectives. When Tsunade shared this information with Naruto, his response was immediate. Jiraiya-sensei's infiltration parameters exceed safety thresholds. Request permission to provide backup support through remote Flying Thunder God coordination. Denied, Tsunade said firmly. Jiraiya specifically requested no support. Adding another high-value target like yourself to the situation would only complicate his mission. With respect, Hokage-sama, that assessment overlooks tactical advantages of graduated response options, Naruto countered. I can establish a marker network outside of Megakure's borders that will provide emergency extraction capability without compromising his cover. After consideration, Tsunade approved this modified approach. Naruto immediately departed for the border region near Amegakure, accompanied by a small team including Sasuke, whose investigation into the Uchiha massacre had reached a temporary impasse. They established a perimeter of Flying Thunder God markers around Amagakure's borders, creating what Naruto called a tactical response grid. Additionally, Naruto provided Jiraiya with a specialized marker kunai for emergency extraction. The response time will be near instantaneous if he activates the marker, Naruto explained to Sasuke as they monitored the situation from their border position. However, effective use requires sufficient advance warning to activate the beacon. Despite these precautions, the mission went catastrophically wrong. Within Amegakure, Jiraiya encountered not one but 6 individuals wielding the Rinnegan, the legendary dojutsu of the Sage of Six Paths. Each possessed unique abilities that complemented the others, creating a combat system that even a Sannin couldn't overcome. When Jiraiya activated the emergency beacon, it was already too late. By the time Naruto teleported to his location, he found his mentor fatally wounded, using the last of his strength to encode a message on a toad's back. Naruto, Jiraiya gasped, recognizing his student. You came. Conservation protocol, Naruto instructed, medical supplies already in hand. Minimize movement and speech. I'll stabilize your condition for transport. But both knew it was too late for such measures. Jiraiya's wounds were beyond treatment, his life force fading rapidly. Instead of accepting Naruto's medical intervention, he grasped his student's hand firmly. Listen, Jiraiya said urgently. Pain is not what he seems. The real one isn't among the 6 bodies, and they're all. Conserve energy, Naruto urged, his typically analytical voice tinged with emotion. I've placed a marker. We can teleport to safety immediately. Jiraiya shook his head weakly. Too late for me, but I've left you the key, the code to defeating him. His hand tightened on Naruto's. You've surpassed everything I hoped for, Naruto. The child of prophecy, it's you. For perhaps the first time since his training with Jiraiya began, Naruto's analytical facade cracked completely. Tears formed in his eyes as he held his mentor's hand. Sensei, with his final breath, Jiraiya smiled. I guess my story ends here. Make sure yours has a better ending, Naruto. When Naruto returned to their border position, teleporting with Jiraiya's body, Sasuke immediately recognized the situation. Without a word, he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, a simple gesture of support that spoke volumes about how their relationship had evolved. His final communication contains encoded intelligence, Naruto said after a moment, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. And he confirmed that Pain possesses the Rinnegan, distributed across 6 separate bodies with a hidden controller. The return to Konoha with Jiraiya's body was solemn. Tsunade received the news with stoic professionalism that barely concealed her devastation. The loss of her former teammate struck deeply, though like Naruto, She channeled her grief into resolute determination. "Decode his message," she instructed Naruto. "Whatever Jiraiya discovered cost him his life. We need to ensure that sacrifice wasn't in vain." In the days that followed, Naruto immersed himself in analyzing Jiraiya's final message. The code, based on patterns from Jiraiya's own novels, yielded a critical insight. The real one is not among them. Pain utilizes 6 bodies simultaneously, each with distinct abilities, Naruto explained during a classified briefing with Konoha's leadership. However, these bodies are merely receivers controlled remotely by a 7th individual, the actual Pain. "Like puppets?" Shikaku Nara asked, his strategic mind immediately grasping the implications. "Similar but more sophisticated," Naruto confirmed. "The bodies appear to be reanimated corpses controlled through chakra receivers. Based on Jiraiya Sensei's observations, they all possess Rinnegan eyes and share a linked visual field." This intelligence prompted intensive preparation within Konoha. Defensive systems were enhanced, evacuation protocols reviewed, and response teams established. Naruto worked closely with the Strategic Division, developing countermeasures for each of Pain's identified abilities. Despite these preparations, when Pain finally attacked Konoha, the assault was devastating. 6 distinct bodies simultaneously infiltrated the village from different directions, each demonstrating unique and powerful abilities that overwhelmed even prepared defenses. Naruto, who had been training in specialized sage techniques at Mount Myoboku, was alerted to the attack through a reverse summoning jutsu. Upon arriving at the outskirts of the village, he found widespread destruction, buildings leveled, shinobi injured, and civilians in panic. His analytical mind immediately assessed the situation. Multiple impact zones consistent with gravitational manipulation. Chakra signature distribution indicates all 6 bodies are operational and dispersed throughout the village. Without hesitation, Naruto activated his Flying Thunder God network, teleporting first to the Hokage Tower where Tsunade was coordinating the defense. "Status report," he requested upon arrival. "Critical," Tsunade replied grimly. "Pain's abilities exceed our intelligence estimates. The Deva Path alone has destroyed nearly a third of the village with some kind of massive repulsive force. Casualties are significant." Naruto nodded, already formulating his response strategy. "I'll engage directly. My Flying Thunder God markers throughout the village provide optimal mobility for countering multiple opponents. Additionally, I've developed specific counter techniques for each of Pain's observed abilities." "Be careful," Tsunade warned. "Jiraiya fell to these same opponents. I've integrated his final intelligence into my tactical approach," Naruto assured her. "And I have advantages he didn't, including full cooperation with Kurama and a pre-established teleportation network." What followed was perhaps the most extraordinary display of Naruto's evolved abilities yet seen. Using his Flying Thunder God technique, he teleported systematically throughout the village, engaging each of Pain's bodies with precisely tailored countermeasures. The Animal Path, capable of summoning massive creatures, found its beasts restrained by Naruto's adamantine chains before they could cause significant damage. The Asura Path, with its mechanized body modifications, was disabled by precisely targeted ceiling tags that disrupted its chakra flow. The Human Path, which could read minds through physical contact, never managed to touch Naruto, who used teleportation to maintain perfect distance control. One by one, Naruto neutralized 5 of the 6 paths, his methodical approach and specialized techniques proving devastatingly effective. But the Deva Path, Pain's primary body with gravitational manipulation abilities, proved the most challenging. Their confrontation took place in a crater at the center of the village, created by Pain's most powerful technique. The Deva Path, with its pierced face and Rinnegan eyes, regarded Naruto with cold assessment. "So the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki finally appears," Pain observed. "Your abilities have evolved beyond our intelligence reports, and your actual identity remains concealed," Naruto replied, his Sage Mode active and chains hovering ready around him. "The real Pain controls these bodies remotely, using the Rinnegan shared vision capabilities." A flicker of surprise crossed the Deva Path's features. "Jiraiya taught you well, but understanding doesn't equal victory." Their battle reshaped what remained of Konoha's center. Pain's gravitational techniques, Almighty Push and Universal Pull, were countered by Naruto's flying thunder god and chakra chains in an intricate dance of space-time manipulation. When Pain created a massive gravitational sphere capable of destroying the entire village, Naruto countered with a specialized barrier technique that channeled the energy upward, protecting the civilians below. The turning point came when Naruto identified the 5-second interval between Pain's gravitational manipulations, a brief window of vulnerability that his analytical mind had calculated through careful observation. Using this knowledge, he executed a perfectly timed flying thunder god assault, striking in the exact moment when Pain couldn't defend with his repulsive force. With the Deva path finally disabled, Naruto focused on locating the real Pain. His Sage Mode senses, combined with the intelligence from Jiraiya's final message, led him to a massive tree structure on the village outskirts. Inside, he found an emaciated red-haired man connected to a complex chakra transmission machine, Naruto Uzumaki, the true Pain. "You found me," Nagato acknowledged weakly, as expected of Jiraiya's student and Minato's son. Beside him stood a blue-haired woman with a paper flower in her hair, Konan, his loyal companion. She moved protectively in front of Nagato, but he gently motioned for her to stand down. "It's over, Nagato," Naruto said calmly. "Your 6 paths have been neutralized. Konoha has suffered, but it stands." "For now," Nagato replied. "But the cycle of hatred continues. Other villages will attack, other children will be orphaned, and the pain will perpetuate. My solution was to create such devastating pain that humanity would finally understand its folly." Rather than immediately countering this philosophy, Naruto took an unexpected approach. "You're an Uzumaki," he observed. "Like my mother, like me." Nagato seemed surprised by this direction. "Yes, though that connection means little in a world of divided loyalties and endless conflict." "It means we share more than just distant blood," Naruto replied. "We share the burden of extraordinary power and the responsibility that comes with it." What followed was not combat, but conversation. A profound philosophical exchange between two Uzumaki with radically different experiences, but similar pain. Naruto spoke of his journey, of finding strength not in isolation, but in connection, of breaking cycles rather than perpetuating them. "Your path creates the very pain you claim to oppose," Naruto concluded. "There's another way, harder, slower, but ultimately more effective, not inflicting greater pain, but understanding and healing existing wounds." As they talked, something shifted in Nagato's eyes, a recognition perhaps of the path he might have taken had circumstances been different. In Naruto, he saw echoes of his childhood friend Yahiko, whose dream had been peace through understanding rather than fear. Jiraiya once spoke of a child who would either save or destroy the world, Nagato said finally. "I believed I was that child. But perhaps it was always meant to be you." In a decision that shocked both Naruto and Konan, Nagato performed a final technique, Outer Path, Samsara of Heavenly Life. Using his Rinnegan's most powerful ability, he returned life to all those who had died during his attack on Konoha, sacrificing his own life in the process. "I place my faith in your approach, Naruto Uzumaki," Nagato said as his life ebbed away. "Show me that there is indeed another path." As Nagato died, his final gift to Konoha restoring countless lives, Naruto experienced another unexpected connection. Within his mindscape, a new presence manifested, his father's chakra imprint, triggered by the near-complete release of the Nine Tails during the battle with Pain. "Naruto," Minato's manifestation said warmly, "you've grown so much." "Father," Naruto acknowledged, emotion briefly overwhelming his analytical nature. "Your chakra imprint was designed to activate during critical seal destabilization." Minato smiled. "Always analyzing. But yes, I left this portion of my chakra specifically to reinforce the seal if necessary." His expression grew serious. "Though it seems you've developed a relationship with the Nine Tails that makes such intervention less critical." "Kurama," Naruto corrected gently. "His name is Kurama. And yes, we've established a cooperative partnership rather than the adversarial relationship typical of Jinchuriki Biju pairs." "Remarkable," Minato said, genuine pride in his voice. "You've surpassed my hopes, Naruto. Your mother would be ecstatic to see what you've accomplished." "She has seen some of it," Naruto replied, explaining the previous manifestation of Kushina's chakra imprint. "Your combined guidance has been invaluable in developing my inherited techniques." Their conversation, though brief, provided Naruto with renewed clarity and purpose. Minato shared additional insights about the Flying Thunder God technique and confirmed suspicions regarding Madara Uchiha, the masked man who had orchestrated the Nine-Tails attack 16 years earlier. "Be cautious of him," Minato warned. "His space-time technique rivals even the Flying Thunder God in some respects, and his ambitions are far greater than they appear." When Naruto returned to consciousness, he found Konoha transformed, the dead restored to life, though the physical damage to the village remained extensive. His defeat of pain and the miraculous revival of those lost made him an immediate hero, the entire village recognizing the extraordinary shinobi he had become. In the aftermath, reconstruction began immediately. Naruto played a key role, using his shadow clones and specialized sealing techniques to expedite the rebuilding process. More importantly, he worked with Tsunade to establish new defensive protocols based on the insights gained from Pain's attack. However, the respite was brief. News arrived of an unprecedented development. The five Kage were convening a summit to address the Akatsuki threat directly. After Pain's attack on Konoha, the danger could no longer be ignored or treated as individual villages' problems. "As acting Hokage, I should attend," Tsunade declared, still recovering from the chakra exhaustion of protecting civilians during Pain's assault. "But my condition isn't optimal for such a critical diplomatic mission." Recommendation: Kakashi Hatake as Konoha representative, Naruto suggested. His reputation is respected across village boundaries, and his strategic understanding of the Akatsuki threat is comprehensive. Tsunade nodded in agreement. "My thoughts exactly. Kakashi will represent Konoha, with you and Sasuke as advisors." When Naruto raised an eyebrow at this unusual arrangement, she added, "Your tactical insights regarding Akatsuki are unparalleled, and Sasuke's perspective on the Uchiha connection is potentially valuable." The Five Kage Summit, held in the neutral land of Iron, brought together the leaders of the major hidden villages for the first time in many years. Tension was high, with historical grievances and contemporary suspicions threatening to derail the necessary alliance before it could form. Naruto, accompanying Kakashi as advisor, observed the political dynamics with his characteristic analytical precision. When discussions became heated, particularly regarding the appropriate response to Akatsuki, he waited for a natural pause before speaking. "With respect to the assembled Kage," he began, his calm voice carrying through the chamber, "threat assessment indicates that conventional military response will be insufficient against Akatsuki's current capabilities. Their objectives extend beyond mere power accumulation to a fundamental restructuring of the shinobi world order." "And what would you know of such matters?" the Tsuchikage challenged. "You're barely more than a child." "Age parameters are irrelevant to analytical validity," Naruto replied evenly. "The evidence pattern is clear. Akatsuki has systematically targeted Jinchuriki while simultaneously positioning agents within multiple village power structures. This indicates a coordinated strategy with specific in-game objectives rather than conventional military or terrorist motivations." His precise, detailed breakdown of Akatsuki's activities, including intelligence that some villages weren't aware had been compromised, gradually shifted the discussion from mutual accusation to collaborative strategy. Even the initially dismissive Tsuchikage began considering Naruto's assessments with grudging respect. The summit's productive direction was suddenly disrupted by an unexpected development, the arrival of Madara Uchiha himself. Teleporting directly into the secure meeting chamber, the masked man made an extraordinary announcement. "I come to declare the beginning of the Fourth Great Ninja War," he proclaimed. "Unless you surrender the remaining Jinchuriki, the 8 Tails and the 9 Tails, I will use the 7 Biju already captured to destroy the current shinobi system and implement my infinite Tsukuyomi plan." The chamber erupted in chaos, but Naruto remained calm, his analytical mind processing both the explicit threat and the implicit revelations in Madara's statement. "Your strategy contains a fundamental logical inconsistency," Naruto observed, drawing Madara's attention. "If your objective is truly peace through controlled reality, the destruction prerequisite contradicts the stated end goal. Additionally, your chakra signature contains anomalies inconsistent with Madara Uchiha's historical parameters." The masked man's single visible eye narrowed. You continue to be troublesome, Naruto Uzumaki. Your analytical mind sees too much. Before anyone could react further, Sasuke stepped forward, his expression controlled but intense. Your manipulation regarding Itachi has been exposed. Konoha's classified archives have confirmed portions of your claims, but contradicted your interpretations. Itachi was a loyal shinobi to the end, loyal to the village and to me. This declaration, representing the culmination of Sasuke's independent investigation into the Uchiha massacre, visibly disturbed the masked man. His carefully constructed narrative was unraveling precisely because Sasuke had chosen analysis over emotional reaction. "You've grown beyond my expectations, Sasuke," the masked man acknowledged. "But it changes nothing. My declaration stands. Surrender the Jinchuriki or face war." With that ultimatum delivered, he vanished in his characteristic spiral distortion, leaving the five Kage to confront an unprecedented threat. In the stunned silence that followed, a remarkable transformation occurred. The previously divided Kage, recognizing the existential threat to the entire shinobi system, began discussing genuine alliance rather than temporary cooperation. "We cannot surrender the Jinchuriki," the Raikage declared firmly. Not only would it be dishonorable, but it would provide this Madara with the final pieces needed for his plan. "Agreed," Gaara added, his position as Kazekage giving particular weight to his words. "And we must establish a united shinobi force to counter this threat." As the discussion evolved into concrete planning, Naruto contributed key strategic insights that helped shape what would become the allied shinobi forces. His analytical approach to resource allocation, tactical positioning, and intelligence coordination impressed even the most experienced military minds among the Kage's advisors. When they returned to Konoha with news of the impending war and the formation of the allied shinobi forces, preparations began immediately. Training intensified, medical supplies were stockpiled, and intelligence networks focused exclusively on Akatsuki movements. Naruto, recognized now as both a hero for defeating pain and a strategic asset for his analytical capabilities, was placed in an unusual position. The allied shinobi forces' leadership initially planned to secure both remaining Jinchuriki away from the battlefield, protecting them from Akatsuki's grasp. Tactically unsound, Naruto argued when this strategy was proposed. Isolation reduces defensive capabilities rather than enhancing them. Additionally, removing key combat assets from the battlefield creates strategic disadvantages that exceed protection benefits. "You're suggesting we deploy you directly against Akatsuki?" Tsunade asked, surprised despite her familiarity with Naruto's strategic thinking. "Affirmative," Naruto confirmed. "My abilities are specifically evolved to counter Akatsuki's demonstrated techniques. Furthermore, Kurama's cooperation provides unique advantages against other Biju if Akatsuki deploys them as weapons." After extensive debate, a compromise was reached. Naruto would undergo specialized training to perfect his control of Kurama's chakra, but would remain available for deployment if the tactical situation required his specific capabilities. This training took place on a remote island traditionally used by Kumogakure for Jinchuriki preparation. There, under the guidance of Killer Bee, the Eight Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto worked to achieve perfect harmony with Kurama. The training was intensive, requiring Naruto to confront both the physical challenges of handling Biju chakra and the psychological dimensions of true partnership. Within his mindscape, he engaged in direct dialogue with Kurama, their relationship evolving from cautious cooperation to genuine alliance. "Your approach has always been different," Kurama acknowledged during one such conversation. "Even before you understood who I was, you sought cooperation rather than domination." "Tactical optimization," Naruto replied with a small smile. "Cooperative engagement yields superior results compared to adversarial models." Kurama chuckled, a sound that would have once been unimaginable from the fearsome Nine Tails. "You express it in analytical terms, but your heart understands the true principle. Respect creates strength that control never can." Their training culminated in a breakthrough that surprised even Killer Bee. Rather than merely accessing Kurama's chakra efficiently, Naruto achieved complete Biju transformation, a perfect manifestation of the Nine Tails form, golden rather than the traditional red, representing their harmonized energies. This exceeds standard Jinchuriki parameters, Naruto observed, examining the massive chakra avatar that surrounded him. The integration efficiency approaches 97%, compared to the typical 50 to 60% observed in historical Jinchuriki manifestations. That's because it ain't just you using the fox, Killer B explained in his rhythmic way. It's both of you working together, fools ya fools! This perfect Jinchuriki form, combined with Naruto's Flying Thunder God technique and Uzumaki's sealing abilities, created a combat system of unprecedented power and versatility. It would prove critical in the approaching conflict, though not in the way anyone had anticipated. When the Fourth Great Ninja War officially began, the allied shinobi forces implemented their strategy of protecting the remaining Jinchuriki. Naruto and Killer B were stationed on the island, ostensibly isolated from the main conflict but prepared for deployment if necessary. However, Naruto's enhanced sensory abilities, amplified by Sage Mode and Kurama's perception, allowed him to detect the massive chakra disturbances of the opening battles. Despite orders to remain in place, he made a characteristically analytical decision. The tactical situation has evolved beyond initial parameters, he explained to Killer B. Multiple division engagements indicate Akatsuki has deployed enhanced white Zetsu forces supplemented by reanimated shinobi under Kabuto Yakushi's control. So what's your plan, man? Killer B asked, already suspecting the answer. Strategic intervention, Naruto replied simply. I've established a Flying Thunder God marker network throughout the deployment zone during previous missions. We can provide targeted support without compromising our security. Despite the objections of their guards, Naruto and Killer B departed the island, moving rapidly toward the main battlefield. Using his Flying Thunder God technique, Naruto transported them to the conflict's critical points, making precisely calculated appearances that turned the tide of multiple engagements. The Allied forces' commanders were initially furious at this breach of protocol, but the results were undeniable. Naruto's ability to teleport between divisions, providing crucial support exactly where needed, saved countless lives and prevented several potential breakthroughs by Akatsuki's forces. The war's dynamics shifted dramatically when Kabuto deployed his most powerful reanimated shinobi, including former Kage, legendary swordsmen, and most disturbingly, Naruto's parents. Minato and Kushina Uzumaki, brought back through the impure world reincarnation technique, represented both an emotional challenge and a tactical opportunity. When Naruto encountered his reanimated father on the battlefield, the moment transcended the chaos around them. For the first time, they stood face to face in the physical world, not just within Naruto's mindscape. You've surpassed me, Minato observed, visibly fighting against Kabuto's control. The Flying Thunder God, the chains, the analytical mind, you've mastered all your inherited abilities and made them your own. With your guidance, Naruto acknowledged, emotion briefly showing through his tactical facade. Both of you. Kushina, similarly struggling against the reanimation's control, smiled through tears. Look at you, so grown up and strong, just like we hoped. Rather than being destroyed by this encounter, Naruto turned it into a decisive advantage. Working together, father and son, both masters of the Flying Thunder God technique, created combination attacks of unprecedented speed and precision. Their synchronized teleportation confused and overwhelmed Akatsuki's forces, who couldn't predict or counter their coordinated movements. Twin Flash Formation, Naruto designated this tactic, which became legendary among the Allied forces. Enemies would find themselves caught between father and son, appearing simultaneously from different directions, their attacks perfectly timed to exploit openings created by the other. Kushina's contribution was equally significant. Though reanimated, she retained her mastery of Uzumaki's sealing techniques and chakra chains. Working alongside Naruto, she helped develop a specialized sealing array that could neutralize the impure world reincarnation technique, potentially freeing all the reanimated shinobi from Kabuto's control. The matrix requires simultaneous activation at multiple points, Kushina explained, her chakra chains helping to draw the complex seal pattern. The timing must be precise to disrupt the binding without harming the summoned souls. Flying Thunder God markers at each activation point would enable perfect synchronization, Naruto observed, his analytical mind immediately grasping the potential. combined with shadow clones for simultaneous execution. This mother-son collaboration created a counter-technique that would prove crucial in the war's later stages. The bitter irony of being controlled by the enemy was transformed into an opportunity for the Uzumaki family to demonstrate their extraordinary combined abilities. The war reached its climax when the true mastermind was finally revealed. Not Madara Uchiha as claimed, but Obito Uchiha, Kakashi's former teammate long thought dead. This revelation came during a desperate battle against the reanimated actual Madara Uchiha, whose legendary powers had been enhanced beyond their historical parameters. Two Madaras? Naruto observed, his analytical mind immediately processing this incongruity. The masked individual's chakra signature contains irregularities inconsistent with the confirmed Madara pattern. Kakashi, fighting alongside Naruto against this overwhelming threat, made the connection through personal recognition. Obito, he whispered, finally identifying the chakra signature he had subconsciously recognized all along. It's Obito Uchiha. This identification shifted the psychological dynamics of the confrontation dramatically. Where Madara had been an almost mythical figure of immense historical gravity, Obito represented a more complex and personal tragedy, a former Konoha shinobi who had been corrupted by loss and manipulation. The battle against both Obito and the reanimated Madara pushed the allied shinobi forces to their limits. Madara's legendary techniques, combined with Obito's space-time manipulation abilities, created a nearly unstoppable combination. Only the unprecedented teamwork of the allied forces' best shinobi prevented immediate defeat. Central to this resistance was the evolved form of Naruto's abilities. His perfect Kurama mode, combined with the Flying Thunder God technique and Uzumaki sealing knowledge, allowed him to counter even Madara's most powerful attacks. When Madara launched a massive meteorite toward the allied forces, Naruto's response was both immediate and extraordinary. Kurama Avatar, Flying Thunder Network, he announced, his voice calm despite the impending devastation. Golden chakra surged around him, forming the massive nine-tailed shape. Simultaneously, hundreds of shadow clones appeared, each placing Flying Thunder God markers in a precise three-dimensional grid throughout the airspace between the allied forces and the approaching meteorite. What followed defied conventional understanding of space-time techniques. Naruto began teleporting rapidly between markers, his Kurama avatar creating massive chakra chains at each point. These chains interlocked across the entire defensive zone, forming a golden lattice of enormous strength and flexibility. When the meteorite struck this network, the combined space-time anchoring and chakra reinforcement dispersed its energy, reducing a civilization-ending impact to a manageable shockwave. The debris, rather than crushing the allied forces, was redirected harmlessly away from the battlefield. Impossible, Madara observed, genuine surprise in his reanimated features. The coordination of space-time manipulation and physical chakra manifestation at that scale. Inherited techniques evolved through cooperative application, Naruto explained simply, though the chakra cost of the maneuver had been enormous. Optimization of complementary abilities rather than reliance on singular power. This philosophy, that true strength came not from individual dominance, but from harmonized cooperation, became the defining principle of the Allied forces' approach. Naruto's demonstration inspired unprecedented coordination between traditionally hostile villages, with shinobi combining their distinctive techniques in ways never before attempted. The war's decisive turn came when Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, the original Team 7 now reunited on the battlefield, confronted Obito directly. Each had evolved far beyond their genin origins, becoming specialists whose abilities complemented each other perfectly. Your space-time technique fundamentally resembles the Flying Thunder God, Naruto analyzed as they engaged Obito. However, it utilizes dimensional phase shifting rather than marker-based teleportation, creating vulnerability during the transition between tangible and intangible states. Sasuke, his Sharingan tracking these phase transitions with precision, exploited the millisecond windows Naruto identified. Sakura's medical knowledge allowed her to target the specific biological systems that supported Obito's techniques, disrupting his chakra flow at critical moments. Their coordinated assault gradually overcame Obito's formidable defenses. When finally cornered, the true tragedy of his story emerged. a young shinobi whose love for his teammate and idealism for a better world had been twisted by Madara's manipulation into a nihilistic quest for artificial reality. "I wanted to create a world where none of us would suffer," Obito confessed, his mask finally shattered both literally and figuratively, "where Rin would still be alive, where promises wouldn't be broken." Rather than responding with judgment, Naruto took an unexpected approach. "Your objective was logical, given your experience parameters," he acknowledged. "The desire to eliminate suffering is valid. However, your methodology creates artificial resolution rather than genuine healing." This analytical yet empathetic assessment reached something in Obito that countless battles had not. The conversation that followed, even as the war raged around them, addressed fundamental questions of reality, pain, and human connection that transcended the immediate conflict. "True reality, with all its pain, contains the capacity for genuine connection," Naruto explained, momentarily setting aside his typical analytical language for something more profound. "The infinite Tsukuyomi offers perfect dreams, but eliminates authentic relationships. The statistical probability of finding meaning through shared struggle exceeds the benefit of isolated perfection." These words, combined with Kakashi's emotional appeal to their shared past, gradually shifted Obito's perspective. The culmination came when Naruto offered something unexpected, not destruction or punishment, but the opportunity for redemption through positive action. "Your space-time abilities, combined with your Rinnegan, could counteract the impure world reincarnation on a scale we cannot achieve independently," Naruto observed. "Strategic reassessment suggests cooperative engagement would yield optimal outcomes for both parties." This logical yet compassionate approach eventually persuaded Obito to turn against Madara, using his unique abilities to support the Allied forces rather than oppose them. His knowledge of Madara's plans proved invaluable, revealing the final stages of the infinite Tsukuyomi strategy and the true nature of Black Zetsu's manipulation across generations. The war's final phase brought an escalation beyond anything the shinobi world had previously experienced. Madara, achieving his objective of becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, reached a level of power that threatened not just the Allied forces, but reality itself. And when even Madara proved to be merely a pawn in Kaguya Otsutsuki's resurrection, the conflict transcended conventional warfare entirely. Kaguya, the primordial source of all chakra, existed beyond traditional combat parameters. Her ability to manipulate dimensions, gravity, and the fundamental nature of reality itself required an equally transcendent response. This response came through the unprecedented cooperation of Naruto, Sasuke, and the reincarnated spirits of the previous Hokage. Minato, still present through the impure world reincarnation, contributed his complete understanding of the Flying Thunder God technique. Hashirama Senju provided insights into the fundamental nature of chakra. Tobirama added his analytical brilliance regarding space-time mechanics. And Hiruzen offered strategic wisdom accumulated across generations of conflict. With this collective knowledge, Naruto developed what he called Dimensional Flying Thunder God, an evolved version of his father's technique that could navigate between Kaguya's reality distortions. By combining this with Sasuke's Rinnegan abilities and their jointly awakened Six Paths powers, they created a combat system capable of challenging even the Rabbit Goddess herself. The final battle took place across multiple dimensions, reality itself becoming malleable under Kaguya's influence. Naruto's analytical mind, processing complex spatial relationships that would confound most shinobi, allowed him to maintain tactical coherence despite these dimensional shifts. Her control nexus remains constant despite environmental manipulation, he observed during a brief respite between dimensional transitions. The chakra flow indicates a primary convergence point that remains vulnerable regardless of which reality construct she manifests. This insight proved crucial to their eventual strategy. Using a combination of Naruto's Dimensional Flying Thunder God, Sasuke's Space-Time Dojutsu, and the sealing techniques inherited from both the Sage of Six Paths and Uzumaki tradition, they gradually maneuvered Kaguya into a position where their final technique could succeed. Six Paths, Planetary Devastation, Flying Thunder God Network, Naruto announced as the culmination of their strategy unfolded. The technique combined elements from multiple sources. Naruto's evolved Flying Thunder God markers, creating a multidimensional matrix, Sasuke's Rinnegan providing the gravitational manipulation necessary for the planetary devastation component, and their jointly enhanced chakra supplying the raw power required for such an unprecedented technique. Kaguya, for all her godlike abilities, found herself caught in a sealing network that transcended the dimensional boundaries she herself had created. As the technique activated fully, drawing her inexorably into a newly formed celestial body, her expression showed something unexpected: recognition. "You are different from the others," she acknowledged, addressing Naruto specifically. "Your power seeks harmony rather than dominance." With those final words, the progenitor of all chakra was sealed away once more, ending the greatest threat the shinobi world had ever faced. The war's conclusion brought both celebration and solemn reflection. The allied shinobi forces had prevailed, but at tremendous cost. The shared experience of facing extinction had transformed traditional rivalries, creating the foundation for a new era of cooperation between the five great nations. In the immediate aftermath, attention turned to reconstruction and healing. Naruto, whose analytical mind had proven so valuable in warfare, now applied the same methodical approach to rebuilding. His Flying Thunder God technique accelerated the transportation of supplies between villages, while his shadow clones provided labor across multiple locations simultaneously. More importantly, his unique perspective helped shape the peace that followed. When the five Hokage convened to formalize their continued alliance, Naruto was invited to address them not as a Jinchuriki or a war hero, but as a strategic advisor whose vision transcended traditional boundaries. The statistical analysis of historical conflict patterns indicates that isolation and information restriction correlate directly with escalation probability, he explained during this address. Recommendation: establish permanent information sharing protocols and regular joint training exercises to maintain cooperative capabilities developed during the war. These suggestions, along with many others, were adopted into what became known as the Shinobi Union, a formal alliance that preserved individual village autonomy while creating mechanisms for collaboration and conflict resolution. As the shinobi world gradually returned to normalcy, Naruto's personal journey reached its natural conclusion. 6 months after the war's end, Tsunade announced her intention to step down as Hokage, recommending Kakashi as her successor. And after Kakashi, she added during a private conversation with Naruto, "It will be your turn." Naruto nodded, accepting this trajectory with characteristic analytical calm. The logical progression based on capability parameters and leadership development. Tsunade smiled, seeing through his composed exterior. "You can admit you're excited, you know. Being Hokage has been your goal since before you could properly throw a kunai." A rare, genuine smile spread across Naruto's face. The probability of achieving that objective once seemed statistically improbable. The current reality exceeds projected outcome parameters in multiple dimensions. In normal human language, "You're happy," Tsunade translated with a laugh. "Affirmative," Naruto acknowledged, his smile widening. In the years that followed, Naruto continued to evolve, balancing his analytical nature with the emotional connections that had become increasingly important to him. His relationship with Hinata Hyuga, which had developed gradually throughout their shared experiences, deepened into something that even his precise mind couldn't fully quantify. The emotional response exceeds standard parametric measurement, he explained somewhat awkwardly when Sasuke questioned him about his feelings for Hinata. Statistical analysis proves inadequate for comprehensive evaluation. Sasuke, who had developed his own unexpected connection with Sakura, merely nodded in understanding. "Some things can't be calculated, Naruto, even by your mind." Their friendship, once defined by rivalry and later by tactical collaboration, had matured into something deeper, a brotherhood forged through shared struggle and mutual respect. Sasuke's role as Konoha's shadow protector complemented Naruto's increasingly public leadership position, creating a balanced system that would serve the village for generations. When Kakashi finally stepped down as 7th Hokage, Naruto's appointment was a formality universally supported across the five great nations. The ceremony that followed was attended by dignitaries from every village, a testament to how thoroughly the former outcast had transformed not just himself, but the entire shinobi world. As he donned the Hokage robes and hat, Naruto took a moment to look out over Konoha. His analytical mind automatically assessed the village's growth, security parameters, and development metrics, all showing positive trajectories. But beyond these quantifiable measures, he perceived something his younger self might have missed. The intangible bonds that connected the people below, the shared experiences that had transformed former enemies into allies, the next generation growing up without the shadow of imminent war. Within his mindscape, Kurama observed this moment with uncharacteristic sentimentality. "You actually did it, Kit. From village pariah to Hokage, the statistical probability must have been infinitesimal. Approximately 0.0027% based on initial parameters," Naruto confirmed with a small smile. But probability calculations can't account for determination, friendship, and inherited legacy. As he addressed the village as their Hokage for the first time, Naruto briefly set aside his typically analytical language for something more heartfelt. "The path that brought me here wasn't one I walked alone," he told the assembled crowd. "It was created through countless connections, sacrifices, and shared dreams. As Hokage, my goal isn't just efficient village management or tactical superiority. It's nurturing the bonds that make us stronger together than we could ever be apart." That evening, after the celebrations had concluded, Naruto took a solitary moment atop the Hokage monument, gazing at the stone faces that now included his own. His analytical mind couldn't help calculating the symmetry: the first Hokage who founded the village, the second who established its systems, the third who preserved it through multiple crises, the fourth who sacrificed everything to protect it, the fifth who modernized it, the sixth who rebuilt it after war, and now himself, the seventh tasked with leading it into a new era of peace. "We're proud of you," came a familiar voice, so clear he almost believed it was real rather than memory. Within his mindscape, the chakra imprints of his parents had long since faded, their purpose fulfilled. But in moments of profound significance, Naruto sometimes felt their presence, not as active consciousness, but as the inherited legacy that had shaped his journey. "The village is secure. The war is over. The next generation is growing in peace," he said quietly to the night air. "Mission accomplished." As he turned to descend from the monument, Naruto's analytical mind was already planning tomorrow's tasks: border security assessments, academy curriculum reviews, infrastructure development proposals. But alongside these practical considerations ran a deeper current of understanding that transcended mere calculation. The true strength of Konoha, of the entire shinobi world, wasn't measured in jutsu mastery or tactical superiority. It lay in the connections between people, the shared dreams that survived even the darkest times, and the inherited legacy that each generation passed to the next. For Naruto Uzumaki, 7th Hokage of Konohagakure, this understanding represented the ultimate evolution of his analytical mind. The recognition that some truths couldn't be calculated, only experienced, protected, and cherished. And in that knowledge, he found a peace that even the most perfect statistical model could never fully describe.
And that's how Naruto's inherited legacy transforms the entire shinobi world. From a tactical genius who outsmarts every enemy to the ultimate father-son flying thunder god combo that dominates the Fourth War. This is the Naruto we deserved to see. If you enjoyed this epic what-if story, smash that like button and subscribe for more Naruto alternate universe content. Which inherited ability impressed you the most, the flying thunder god mastery or those legendary Uzumaki chains? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we explore even more incredible Naruto possibilities.